Zen Ray here. Welcome, Nick Nation. We have some interesting updates. A new team is involved in the Jaden Ivy sweepstakes. We'll be speaking to Juby the Tubi. Today is our year anniversary as well. We can have a special guest. He's trying to get here somehow, some way. It's Millie from Soapgawdtv. Who'll talk a little sports. Very knowledgeable about the basketball game and the game of basketball. So we're waiting for Millie, Soapgawdtv. In the meanwhile, I just want to say thank you to all Nick Nation for watching my videos and responding and commenting. I thank Bronx Roots. We had an interesting conversation about the Bronx since we're raised and born in the Bronx for a while. And thanks to him and the Absolute Truth left some messages here that I'll be putting up in a few minutes about his opinion about Jaden Ivey as well. So Nick Nation, participate. We'll be back in a few. So stand by.
Never give up. Never give up. Knowing that the best is yet to come with love, peace, and gratitude.
Welcome back to Zen Ray Sports Zen Ray Sports TV. I am Zen Ray, and here we have Millie standing by. And before I put Millie on, I have something special I want to you guys watch about the special guest. Millie, stand by. We have a slight introduction.
Do your thing.
For a second. So watch this, ladies and gentlemen. A little introduction of Millie. My go-to guy. I love my man Millie. So here's a little introduction. Millie from Soapgawdtv. Stand by.
Peace and prosperity. Just another day, just another dollar, just another opportunity.
So Millie from Soapgawds, I mean, interesting man. If you want to know about crypto,
that's how
and the whole
we
thing
look
going on,
at
he goes on knocking people's
door-to-door
doors, asking
entrepreneurship.
questions.
And to all my
Not
dog
a lot of
Mars
people
family,
do
you
this.
already
The
know
most
what our motto
successful
is right
salesman
now.
in this world do
Go
what he
get
does.
capital, go to
You get
work.
to know a lot about go get your
TV,
capital. He knows a little sports as well.
We moving
so
on
we're going to be doing a little bit and talking about the Knicks.
Let's talk about
We're bringing
Zion
in Juby the
Williamson.
Tubi family
Zion
above
Williamson
everything. I know we had some
currently
comments coming
rumored to
in
be
from
330 pounds
Mr.
right
Absolute
now,
Truth.
which puts him
We'll
among
put his
the
comments up
heaviest
after we
players
finish
in
watching a little bit
NBA history
of Millie's introduction, and that's all. That's all she goes with his introduction. So, Millie, welcome to Zen Ray Sports TV.
Can you hear me?
How are you? Let me see if I get you unmuted. Hold on. Where are you?
Can you hear me?
Sacramento.
Hold on.
Taking AJ Griffin with the 11th pick. So
we having a little technical difficulties here. Let me see if I can.
Well, I can't believe over a year ago.
I didn't get to unmute myself.
And,
okay.
I just.
All right. So we have a little problem here. Let me just get this fixed. My apologies. We're gonna get something new here, and I'll get to unmute my brother here.
We decided to kind of put a program together where we can come on here and do what we do on a daily basis when we work together and we speak to each other. And let's talk about Knicks news.
Yes, Millie.
Knicks,
I'm here. Can you hear me?
Yes. Hold on. Let me see.
If we were putting a management situation.
Millie, hold on.
We also have a special guest this evening, which is Millie from Soapgawdtv.
What it
He's
do?
going to be joining us at Zen Ray Sports TV. I'm going to show you guys a little video
of him.
Juby, hold on. Come on the show.
Basketball fan.
Hold on. We'll hear this around.
There he is.
That's Millie.
That's how we look at door-to-door entrepreneurship. And
big entrepreneur, guys.
Already know what
Crypto.
All right.
Go to work. So
All about making you guys money, guys.
Okay, let's go, Juby the Tubi
TV. Check out his link. Give him a subscribe.
Appreciate that.
All right, Juby. Get your mic on here, buddy.
Basketball fan, as you guys can see. We're going to have him here today with Zenray from Zenray Sports TV. Let's get Zenray in here, and we can talk to him right now, guys.
Hey, Juby, we had an interference. Your stuff was coming on mine, so we had a little connection issue.
Oh, because you. I'm sorry.
I'm
sorry, brother. Hey, man, how you doing, man?
What's good, brother? Can you hear me fine?
I hear you perfectly fine, man. Thank you for joining us.
Let's get it.
Go over there.
So we're going to be talking a little Knicks, Millie, and I thank you, and I'm sorry for all the confusion. Our setup here got a little kind of crossed, so my apologies.
Let's do it.
So, what do you think of Jaden Ivey possibly coming to the Knicks if the Knicks move up and trade Randall?
I was just reading something about that, man. I feel like y'all need a point guard, definitely. You know what I mean? I know RJ Barrett, his efficiency went down. He pretty much averaged more points, but his efficiency went down. And you know Julius Randle efficiency went down as well. But if y'all can move that 11th pick and maybe a few players, y'all can definitely move up and get Jaden Ivey, man. I feel like he can work on his playmaking skills, but he definitely got that fire like Russell Westbrook. I like that for New York. I really like that for New York.
He reminds me a lot like you. He has your swag. He has your swag. That Ja Morant type of swag.
That Ja Morant for sure.
So you know what I'm talking about. So I just want to talk to everybody from Knick Nation. Check out Millie from Soapgawdtv. You know, now crypto's coming into this world. A lot of NBA players are getting paid in crypto. So I have my own little crypto step on the side, but it's not a crypto show. It's a basketball show. But we'll be doing a show about, you know, professional players getting paid in cryptocurrency and a lot of that good stuff. So we're talking about sports today. Juby, welcome to Zenray Sports TV. I appreciate you being here as well. And you met Millie as well. So we're all intertwined. I want to say hello to everybody for family above everything.
Appreciate the love. I'm good, man. Excited. I can't believe Zenray 1 year anniversary today. 1 year ago, we embarked on this program. Like I was explaining to my viewers, this is something that me and you do when we're just hanging out and talking, speaking about the Knicks, what they can do to better themselves, how we can better ourselves as well. And this is something that we're passionate about, being longtime Knicks fans. And what better way to come on here and speak to the Knick Nation and get to meet some great people like Millie here. And Millie, like I said, man, you got to be a Knicks fan and to play in this city. You got to be thick-skinned. You got to have a certain swag. And like Zenray said, you definitely got that swag. And I think Ivy definitely has that swag to play here in New York City.
Definitely.
So, Millie, I'm going to show a video. Our first year, last year, this time, it's our 1 year anniversary. This is, close your eyes because this is not the most prettiest thing you're going to see. But it was our first day of show last year, June 15th. Check this out. And to my right is Juby, the Tubi, family above everything.
What's going on, everybody? How you doing today?
So we've been trying to set up for the last few days. Thank you for your patience. And we're going to talk about little Knicks. And I know me and Juba has differences about it. So tell me your outtake of the season and tell me your opinion on where the Knicks went right and wrong during the whole season this year.
Where to begin, man? This season, man, to be honest, number one, I didn't expect it to go the way it did. Very proud as a fellow Knicks fan the way they played. They played with a lot of heart, a lot of soul. I think there's a lot of positives, but I also think there was some negatives involved too. And I know a lot of people gave Mr. Coach of the Year, Tom Thibodeau, a lot of props, and I did too. But something that I saw in the first round of the playoffs was that I don't feel he coached the team well that series. I felt that even though I'm, Mr. Zenray is a big Frank Nicolino fan, I hate that guy more than you know. I hate him. But I was looking for that man for like 3-4 games, and we didn't see him. I thought he could have utilized Obi Toppin with Julius Randle at the 4 and 5. So there was a lot of things he could have done differently, but it was a successful season. But my question to you, Ray, is where do they go from here?
If you look at Julius Randle and you look at Barrett, and you have that Rose toward the end.
they were a pushing force to be fourth seed and to be the top 5 defensive team in the league. Now, I think if you go back in Thibodeau's history, his MO is he wore down his players along the way.
All right, so that's a year anniversary. Come a long way, Mill.
Wow.
I mean, we do a lot of these.
I see y'all, man. That's what's up. I like it. I like what I
We
see.
got the beard going now. Back like just to show you guys, look, there was hair back then. There ain't no more hair anymore.
With the James Harden and shit. Well, I see you, man.
Try it, man. Try it.
Also, I want to give a shout out to Mr. Absolute Truth. He left a message before I even got into the show. He's dying to get Randall here. He wants Ivy here so bad. So I'll put up his message. And he says, Mr. Absolute Truth says, let me be the first to say I will personally drive off that prideful clown to Sacramento. He's calling Randall a prideful clown. To Sacramento with our number 11 and 2023 asset for the Kings number 4. So we're not the only ones that think that Ivy, the Knicks should take a chance, or not take a chance, but go up and get Ivy. When you could get a young star, Millie and Juby, that caliber that has the Ja Morant factor or star factor that the Knicks dearly need to have the ball in his hands when we need some points down the stretch, Ivy is the guy. What do you think, Mill?
Well, me personally, I believe y'all should swing the fence. You feel me? I believe that, you feel me, y'all should take an opportunity to maybe trade that pick in Obi Toppin and some more players for maybe a Bradley Beal, Zach LaVine, or even Donovan Mitchell. You feel me? Because with New York being as big, you know what I'm saying, as big as, you know, it's the Mecca. You feel me? For basketball. You know what I'm saying? We need that big star in New York. And I think it's time. You know, Donovan Mitchell may be a little bit upset at his situation. We see Zach, he might want to move on. And y'all have the assets to maybe make a swing for Bradley Beal. So if that's on the table, I think y'all should go for the superstar.
Wow. So you don't like Leon Rose's approach in terms of building it through the draft? Do you want to go back to the old regime where they try to swing at the fences when they got Carmelo here for 5 players?
Well, yeah. So this is my history, man. I've always been a big Knicks fan. I was a big Knicks fan when Melo was there, right? Knicks crushed my heart. You feel me? when Steph Curry then dropped to New York. That's how I ended up on, you know what I'm saying, following the Warriors, because I really thought Steph was going to go to New York. So when I looked at y'all draft picks, you feel me, outside of Chris Stapps and RJ Barrett, it's been duds after duds after duds after duds. So I think, you feel me, if y'all have an opportunity to swing at the big player, go ahead and take that opportunity.
Ooh. Yeah, Juby, give me your opinion, because Shay says that RJ is our rising star, is our star, and I agree with Shay. I mean, I think that RJ is the leader. We still need that star caliber, and thank you, Shay, for coming on and giving me your comment. But Juby, give me your intake, your input, because Millie is saying that we should trade Obi Toppin. If Knick Nation hears that, they're not gonna be too happy. But I understand where he's coming from. But I don't think Leon Rose will do that, Juby. What do you think?
It's hard for me to even part ways with Obi Toppin. You know how I feel about Obi Toppin. Obi Toppin, since he started here, I've been wanting him to get burned. I think, me personally, I would drive to Julius Randle's house. I said it before. I'll pack all his bags. Let's do a package around him. And maybe some other assets, with the exception of not having Obi Toppin. I mean, if you want to add a Miles McBride, I would hate to see that. A Quentin Grimes, go right ahead with Julius Randle. Just, to me, my untouchables are RJ, Obi, and Emmanuel Quickly. Everybody else, to me, is tradable to make the team better. I just heard, again today, that the Knicks are shopping that pick for that 4th pick. And I told you, Zenray, in our previous conversation, that they're looking to get that 11th pick, some draft picks, and Obi Toppin for that 4th pick. And I know me and you had a brief discussion about it, and I know that kind of hurt us a little bit, but I don't know, man. I mean, as far as Donovan Mitchell, I like the guy. I want him.
Right.
Bradley Beal.
What? Now, hear me out. This is the package. I got it right in front of me. This is what I was thinking. So I was thinking the 11th pick, Toppin, Kemba Walker, Burks, IQ, and Cam Reddish. Do what you got to do. Do what you got to do to bring in the starter.
You hurt me, brother. You hurt me. Okay, but no, I understand where he's coming from. We can build.
Tom Thibodeau cannot build young players. He didn't even play Cam Reddish. When you seen Cam Reddish on the Atlanta Hawks, he was giving you Paul George vibes. Y'all didn't even play him.
Right. Yeah. That we had some bad coaching. We had the Scott Layton days where management was just trading everybody for one player.
Right.
But Scooby-Doo is my favorite show growing up. Scooby-Doo. I'm in Sacktown, and there's nothing going on regarding trading our pick to New York. Although I pushed to trade Fox for 11th and some players. Look, a lot of it is propaganda. Almost everything around this world. I mean, and Millie can talk to you about the crypto and how that works. The propaganda. Low, people buy out, and then people come in from the banks and all the other places to purchase the assets at a low price. But yes, propaganda is all over the place. And I agree with you because you're not the first person, Scooby-Doo, that I hear that in Sacramento, there's no talking about them moving that pick, especially to New York. So is that the media? Is there an inside source? Or the Knicks pushing some news out there so they really can get their man? Who's really the Knicks man? Hey, Scooby-Doo, I appreciate your comment, man. And that's very observant of you. And I'm glad you made that known to Knick Nation because there's a lot of stuff that is not true that's out there. Maybe the Knicks are after him. Maybe they're not. But my heart is set on Ivy, Scooby-Doo. So if you and I can make a trade here on the air and shake hands or sign an agreement via email, man, I'll do it, man, Scooby-Doo. I appreciate your comments. We want Ivy, man. We want 4, man. So let's work something out, Scooby-Doo. I appreciate you coming on.
So Zen, let me ask you a question.
Yes, sir.
What you thinking about? What you think about keeping that 11th pick, right? With your current nucleus and drafting maybe a Johnny Davis? He got that Allen Houston type of feel.
Yeah,
you remember Allen Houston from New York?
And he's got that John Starks edge.
He got the John Starks. I was just gonna say that.
Yeah.
I like the Johnny Davis. I'm with that. I also like AJ Griffin. I was telling Zenray that AJ stock has dropped. That everybody's scared to touch him because of his knee, but he's passing physicals, and the guy reminds me of a young Latrell Sprewell with a jump shot. So I think that's a move too. That if we stand pat, that it would work for us too. That's why if they want the house for the 4th pick,
right,
I think we should kind of like stand pat and see what's out there because knowing them, they're gonna want an Obi Toppin, an Emmanuel Quickly, this year's pick, 3 other picks. And that's just absurd. I mean, come on. I mean, the guy's good, and you're kind of going off of what could be if he becomes that superstar. So are you willing to invest all these assets and all this time of what you have accomplished to something that's what could be? You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah. Listen, Juby, you and Millie make some good points, and that's what makes these discussions fun because no one is right, no one is wrong. We just have to find out the truth at the end, and that's only Leon Rose and Knicks management know. And getting to Mike says Randall plus the 11th pick plus more. If that doesn't stop us in getting DM. So I say that's where I go. You have to get Randall to make the youth works better. So Mike makes a good point. At all costs, we have to find a way, a suitor for Randall. Because that's the way a suitor, you get Randall and you get Burks out of here. Those are the 2 main objectives to get this youth team running. If you're not going to get the veterans, like Millie says, and make the trade, then you have to build with the youth. And I think the youth is upon the horizon that's going to make this flow and this Knicks better in the next 2 or 3 years. So Randall must go plus the 11th pick. I'll do that. I do that, Mike, in a heartbeat. But I think they're going to want more for that 4th pick. I appreciate your time, Mike. Feel free to ask any more questions. I think he has another one coming up here. He says he would be interested with Fox as well. I love Fox. We need a point guard and a young point guard. I think Fox can be an answer, but you're going back to the same question. What do we have to give? Can someone good fall for us, Millie, Juby? Someone good like Branham can fall up. Maybe Mathurin can fall down to us. Maybe Adrian Griffin. A lot of good things is happening. Adrian Griffin, I hear that the Knicks have an eye for him. This guy from Duke is going to be a star. Regardless of his knee injury or not, they're saying his knee is 100%. If he falls down to 11 to us, we have to grab Adrian.
You got it.
Oh my gosh, he's a star. If we can, especially.
And then Milmek made a good point too about Zach LaVine. I know that we don't really like to touch up on that, but he's a restricted free agent or a free agent right now coming up. And you guys heard, I know you guys don't want to hear this, that Mitchell Robinson is a restricted free agent, and Chicago is heavily interested in Mitchell Robinson. So maybe they can work out some kind of deal. If the Knicks can't come to an agreement in terms of money, maybe they can work out a deal with Chicago where we can swap Mitchell and something else for a Zach LaVine in a sign-in trade, and then still keep our 11th pick. Or who knows, maybe they want that 11th pick too. So there's a lot of stuff that can go on. This time of year, like I told Zenray, it's just crazy. All the rumors start happening, all the speculations, and this is just a tip of the iceberg of what's to come until next week.
So Shea is back on, and I think this goes to you, Millie. Why bother to draft at all if we ain't developing our own? That was Millie's point. Millie said that our coach is not developing them. I mean, our rookie sitting down, because he has his players. He has Burks and Randall. He has his veterans that are running the team. And I'm saying this right now. If he goes and does the same thing this year coming up, there's somebody in the wing waiting to coach this Knicks team. Okay. and we spoke about it in last week's show. Hey, Shay, I appreciate that. You make some good points. We're going back to Mike. Mike says Randall for Fox straight up. Would you do that, Juby? Would you do that, Mil?
Let me get my clothes ready so I can go get the bags and go ship them out. I'll do that right now.
Yes.
I think that's just to get Randall out of here and get a point guard, Mike. I think we'll do that. No assets being traded, just straight up. I'll go for that, Mike. I think I'll go for that.
And then I would use that 11th pick on some floor spacing, because the major thing is what I seen last year from the Knicks is that they lack floor spacing. Evan Fournier didn't really live up to his contract. Let's be honest. He didn't live up to his contract. So if y'all can keep that nucleus you got, and your boy can improve his playmaking skills, I think y'all can just get that floor spacing and trade straight up Randall for Fox.
Oh,
I see potential in his playmaking skills, but he got to get more assists. You feel me? Randall can't average more assists than what's his guy?
Obi?
Yeah.
But the thing is that the thing with Randall shouldn't be bringing the ball up at all, because he clogs the lane. You need a point guard. That's the reason there's no spacing, And watch Mitchell Robinson. We're going to sign him. I have a great feeling we're going to sign him. Not that he can shoot the threes and they're going to give him a chance to shoot from the perimeter. I think that's going to open up the floor more. So great point by you, Mel. Great point.
Yeah.
Okay, Roberto Mendez. That's my stepdad's name, Roberto. What's good, fellas? Knicks all day, baby. Puerto Rico. Yes.
Let's go.
Boricuas in the house. Yes, Roberto. Appreciate your comments. Knicks all the way. We're back with Scooby-Doo. You won't get Mitchell with the 11th pick. Kings have a better chance to trade the 4 and players for Mitchell. Makes a good point, Scooby-Doo. I mean, look, this is going to make it interesting, man. This is going to make it interesting. And Mil, listen, your knowledge is impeccable in terms about basketball. We're going to invite you back on. We're going to do a lot of things and maybe increase your viewership in your basketball.
Absolutely.
Stuff, because you know your thing, and I like your style. You got more swag than I do, man. And you even got more hair. You even got more hair than I do, man. What's going on here?
I do too.
Shout out, man.
Scooby-Doo, man. Thank you for your comments. We're back to Shay. Shay agrees with us. And we're back to Mike. Mike, if the Knicks look desperate to get rid of Randall, then they're going to get D back. Okay. What do you think? If we get desperate, he's right. I think they, they're gonna try to say, okay, you're that desperate to get rid of him. We'll give you penny on a dollar for Randall.
Well, I said this on our previous shows, Henry, that we might have to, unfortunately, us Knicks fans and Knicks Nation are gonna have to get stuck with Julius either for another season or for a half a season, because his stock is so low right now that nobody really wants him. With what he did with the media and with the fans last season, forget about his average and what he did, because if you look at his stats, he didn't do too bad. He averaged pretty good numbers. It's just the fact that the PR aspect of everything was just not the way to go, and a lot of teams are going to be kind of afraid to touch him right now. So the possibility is the best thing might be to run it back with him, get up his trade value, even though we don't want to hear that, and then move him either All-Star break or after next season. I don't know what you guys think about that.
Yeah, but Mike makes a good point, man. And what do you think, man? When somebody kind of bullies his away through referees and players and knocks laptops off assistant coaches, pushes his own teammate Fournier to leave him alone. There's an anger issue. There's an unsatisfied. Like maybe he's not satisfying the fans enough that he's so angry he's not the player he was last year. We don't know what's going through his head, but that's Julius Randle's only issue. His game is there. He's a 2010 guy, but his mind is not right. Why are you fighting against the world? It's better to serve people with honey than vinegar. And that's an old saying. So he's serving a lot of vinegar and no honey, and the refs are all going to call, not going to make calls for you. And then you got teammates who are not going to respect you. Tom Thibodeau obviously didn't give him, he was not accountable for anything on the team, and that showed bad leadership on Thibodeau's end. So there's a lot of things going on, and Mike says he'll pass on Levine. I'm not a Levine guy.
Thibodeau is Zenray. That's the problem, guys. Yeah. Thibodeau is a Zach LaVine guy. He played with him in Minnesota. He's gonna be intrigued by it. I'm telling you guys.
Thanks, Mike. I think I'll pass on LaVine as well, man. I'm on your boat there, brother. Shay says we need to play Deuce and see what we have. See, that's the good news, guys. Deuce is gonna play the summer league, and Thibodeau is gonna be there coaching them up. So this is an opportunity for Deuce McBride to take advantage. People are talking point guards, to get point guards. We need a star player. We have our point guards in Rokobaitis, and we have it in Deuce. We know Rokobaitis is in the Euro League. He's probably won't be here for another couple of years. Maybe he's a stash player that we'll do in a trade later on. But we have him, and we have Quickly, who emerged late in the last 10, 12 games of the season that took over as our point guard. So we have some promise there. So I look forward for the Knicks to nab a star like a Branham, a Mathurin, Griffin, Benedict Mathurin, like I mentioned. These are the players they're going to go after, upside, try to hit that home run with a player. Shadon Sharp is not in the picture. I think his value is going down. I think now he's reaching the 9th, 10th pick in the last mock draft that we'll go over. But good point, Shay, on that. So we're back. Mike says I would bring Anton and trade for Ivy.
He wants Aiden, the Phoenix center.
Yes, Aiden. Yeah, he's good, man. But what did the Knicks have to do? If you're going to sign Mitchell Robinson, that's going to cause a lot of issues. Aiden is a great player. I personally think right now at this stage, when Aiden and Mitchell Robinson played, Mitchell Robinson ate him alive. He's a much better player than Aiden. That's my personal opinion. He ate him alive in all the games they played against Phoenix. He dominated him on the board. Aiden can get a rebound off Mitchell Robinson. And trade for Ivy, yes. Aiden, I guess if we don't sign Mitchell, maybe that's something I'll think about. But right now, Ivy all the way. Aiden, I'll just put a hold on that because I don't think he's a better player than Mitchell at this juncture. They're close, but when it comes to the rebound and defense, Mitchell Robinson will eat you alive all day. What do you think, Millie? You like Mitchell Robinson? The Knicks assigned Mitchell Robinson?
I mean, he lacks on offense. You feel me? I feel like Aiden is maybe kind of soft. You feel me? It's out there about him. But
his offensive play is better. Yeah,
he can play offense. But my question is to Knick Nation: we gotta ask this question: Are we rebuilding or are we trying to be contenders? What's the sentiment?
I don't think nobody knows.
You know what I mean? It's like you got to look at what y'all facing in the East. We talking about Brooklyn coming back. Boston, they going to come back. I mean, the Atlanta Hawks. So is y'all rebuilding or is y'all trying to be contenders? Because just straddling the fence at the 8th ain't it. Not for New York anyway. New York need to be New York. And that's why I feel like y'all need to go all in for the big star. I would love to see somebody like Damian Lillard there. I know that's far-fetched, but I want to see a real killer in New York. You feel me? I would love to see a real killer in New York. And who gave Julius Randle the green light like that? Who made him the first option mentally? Because that's what's going on with him. He feels like he's the first option. And
it wasn't Leon Rose. It's Thibodeau.
Thibodeau. He just does too much. He does too much in clutch situations.
He tries to do too much. I agree. Right. And it's overwhelming for him. He's in New York. Fans are booing him. He's fighting the refs. He's fighting the fans. He's fighting his own teammates. So something has to give. His mind is not on the game. And that's one of the reasons why his percentages went down. But still, he was still a 2010 guy considering all the negatives.
He was.
This guy has talent.
He said he got
talent. His mind is needs to be kind of
mental health needs to be adjusted for sure.
Yeah, I agree. So, Mike, once again, thank you, Mike, for getting involved. Ivy, IQ, RJ, Obi. Okay, I mean that sounds like a great.
That's a decent lineup.
I like it. Defensively, you lose a lot there with not having Mitchell Robinson there, but I'll take that because then you have Obi's also. If right now is not the greatest defender, and if you had to ask Thibodeau is going to go all defense first. What do you think, guys? These are all defensive type.
And that's the problem with all the players moving to 5 and out. I feel like y'all should be targeting somebody like Mitch. What's the guy name from Indiana? Miles Turner. A center that can actually hit a long shot. You feel me?
And Brogdon, point guard,
Miles Turner would be perfect for you guys because then y'all can play 5 out and still have that defender in the inside.
Yeah, but the only thing, Juby, I'll let you speak next. The only thing about getting Miles Turner, he has a lot of injuries, so his talent is there. But if you're not on the floor, producing those talents, you're no good to us. Mitchell Robinson had a stint last year that was always injured. This year, he was like the crash dummy. Every time he fell up, he came up. He was like the rubber band man.
Marcus Camby 2.0. I said it.
Yeah, he was like amazing. He would walk out of the game, get hurt, come back, and the elastic man. That's what he reminded me of this season. But injury prone, he had issues in the past. But Mitchell Robinson kind of, made up for it last year. I think he's needed here in that Knicks lineup right now. Thank you, Mike, once again. And Mike says sign vets for the bench. Now our bench is too deep, Mike. We need to play our young players like in Grimes and like you mentioned, Deuce McBride and the other young players. Even Cam Reddish, if you don't trade them, you have a lot of young players. Even Jericho Sims as well. You have to get rid of Nerlens Noel in some kind of trade package as well, and maybe play this young kid Sims. Sims was very impressive in the short stint he played, and he can back up Mitchell Robinson, and then you have the old veteran behind him as a third guy. So I appreciate it. Oh, we got Prezi the Boss. Thank you, Mike. Prezi the Boss, thank you for coming on. We don't need saviors. We don't need to develop our in-house talent. Randall needs to go for the sake of Obi's development. I agree.
100%.
Ship him off to Portland for the 7th pick. Listen, if that 4th pick, we can't make that trade, that's the next destination because Portland is looking for another star player for Lillard. So what do you think? Lillard and Randall, the team in Portland, that makes them a much, I think, more opposing team because Randall could get you 20, 10 points, and you got Lillard comes back healthy. He can score. I think they can do some damage. I don't know if they'll get to the promised land, but they can be competitive all year long. What do you think, Millie and Jube?
Go ahead,
I think it's a good. I mean, I think if it's there, I just don't know what would we want at 7th that we can't get at 11th. I mean, they would have to be intrigued by somebody like Adrian Griffin. If they think that he's not going to be there at 11th because somebody in 8th, 9th, or 10th is going to take him before them, then they make a move like that. Ivy's not going to be there. So that's why the 4th is more something that they want. But that, to the 7th pick, I mean, I guess for the right price, if it's just straight up 7th for 11th and maybe a 2nd round pick and they want an 11th and a 2nd round pick, why not? I mean, if it's there.
We'll throw Kemba as an
throwing Alex Burks too, because please, we don't want him on this team anymore. I'm tired of him being wine and dined by Tom Thibodeau, bringing the wine on Tom Thibodeau's dinner with Julius Randle. Both of them need to just get out of here.
What do you think, Mel? You think you'll make that move if you can't get the 4th pick for Ivy, trade to 7 and probably get a Mathurin in that pick? What do you think?
I think the Randall move works more for Portland. I think that would be pro Portland. That's what Randall needs. He needs to be a 2nd or 3rd option on the team for him to thrive in his position.
Yeah.
Adrian Griffin, my personal opinion, he's giving me Andrew Wiggins vibes. I don't see. I don't see the motor. I see the talent, but I don't see the motor. You feel me? Real. You know what I'm saying? If he had the confidence of some of the players in the higher draft, maybe the confidence of a Jaylen Brown, then I would be more intrigued offensively.
Right. Wow, I'm surprised. I never really heard that, but it's good to. I didn't know he had a motor issue. I thought when I saw him at the combines and pro day, the videos that I put up, and even his games in Duke, man, he looked impressive. Even coming off that bad knee injury,
Duke, you know what I'm saying? Them Duke guys, man, they hard to trust, man. They hard to trust. They definitely hard to trust. But
that's true.
I would have wanted him to be more aggressive. That's what I'm saying. Like,
right.
Not taking away from his work ethic, but when I say motor, more aggressive, showing that potential, showing that offensive skill that we all know that he has. You feel me? So that's why I meant Andrew Wiggins vibes. If he was coming to a team with veterans already, but if he going to the Knicks, I think y'all need him to produce up front. You feel me? I don't think, it's something that Tom Thibodeau wants to do as far as, player development, because he lacks at that.
Right. Listen, good point. Well, and Juby, I think Mill makes some good points at the development part of it. Mike says a problem is Randall is a go-to guy, and Knicks fans try to turn him into one. I think that's what Mill brought up, and Juby as well. I think Tom Thibodeau went about this the wrong way. You can't give the keys to a guy who had one good year, and especially you don't make him accountable in front of other players. That's like a sinking ship right there, because other players look up to Julius and look up to their coach and say, why am I getting screamed at for doing this when Julius is doing that, pushing his own players, knocking laptops from people, and not once do you see Thibodeau tell him to calm down or bench him. This is the problem. And if Tibbs does not change his coaching methods, this can be another sour year. And I see Johnny Davis coming right into or Johnny Bryant coming right into the Knicks next coach. He's looking to coach, and I'm not a big Tibbs guy. I'm a more of Leon Rose type of guy. Tibbs has a lot to be desired, the way his substitution patterns and coaching skills, and not playing the young players. That's what really irked me about him the most. Thank you, Mike, once again. And we got Bruce. Welcome, Bruce Curtis. As Kings fans, I pray that Randall is the key piece for the fourth pick. RJ Barrett. Wow.
Whoa.
I'm definitely intrigued. Okay, so then he wants Randall.
No, he doesn't want Randall as the key piece. He wants RJ Barrett. Then he's intrigued.
Oh, wow. Ooh. Okay, I'm surprised. I mean, wow. I read that wrong. My apologies. Randall. Okay, I see the key piece. Wow, I don't think RJ is up for sale, man. Bruce, I would make a deal with you. There has to be something. I could give you Randall. I could give you Kemba. I could give you Fournier, and I can give you our number one pick next year, and we'll keep 2023's Dallas.
We'll give you Cam Reddish. He's an RJ Barrett potential. We'll give you Cam Reddish.
There you go.
I think we'll give you Cam Reddish and some other stuff.
Yeah, RJ Barrett right now, he's the one. He's the guy who leading this team in a quiet fashion. He has quiet leadership. You don't have to be a loudmouth like Julius Randle to make your point across. He is the silent assassin. I love that about Barrett. And I think a lot of people love the way he plays his game. He plays that bully ball. He's developing his outside shot, even though Mills said his percentages went down. But he was trying to do a lot last year. Yeah, every year he's getting better.
He was nice. I was just watching his highlight reel for the whole season. Dog was nice last year. You feel me? Three-way, a three-level type of player. I just want to see more from his playmaking, because that's what the team lacked, and that's what they need more of. But I'm telling you what, and I want to ask you guys this question. If Utah calls on that phone and says, hey, we want RJ for D. Mitch, do you pull the trigger?
Oh, you took the words right out of my exactly what you said. I was thinking about
pulling the trigger for D. Mitch, man.
I don't know, man. I think Leon Rose drafted. Well, Leon Rose didn't draft Mitch. Mitch has been there, but maybe a good point. I think Leon Rose wants to keep the players he drafted. That may be a possibility, and 8 may be a possibility. I don't know. But Mike says he passed on Curtis. Who's Curtis?
Curtis?
Elaborate. Curtis who? Okay. He'll get back to us on that. Prezi the boss. The major annoyance outside of the low trade value is he also has 15% trade kicker. Prezi, I don't think that matters at this juncture. I think if the Knicks get rid of him, that 15% sound like a deal if you get the player you want here in New York. But I understand he is annoying in a lot of ways, and his low trade value. I agree. Julie makes a good point, and you make a good point as well. His value is like $1 and a dime. It's like bad debt. When the companies buy somebody's bad debt, you get it for $1 a penny out of a dollar. This is what Julius Randle is at this point. And hopefully we can correct that. Bruce Curtis says, fair enough, Mike. All right. Okay. Thank you, Bruce. And
are Knicks fans still excited about the opportunity at Zion, or is that dead?
I listen. I always said keep Cam, Barrett, and Zion. Make a trade and bring the trio from Duke. I've always said that. If you watch my previous show,
we just said, how can you trust the Dukes? We just said that 5 minutes ago. So how can we trust that trio working here at Gotham? Come on, guys. Apples and oranges. What are we doing?
But I understand what he's saying.
I feel like y'all should go ahead and start Reddish and see what he got, at least till trade deadline.
I agree.
But he's injury. He seems like he's injury prone.
Point scorer if you give the green light. You got to give these guys the green light.
I agree. Well, Prezi the Boss says my dream scenario is trying to get Mathurin and Sohan. Hey, Prezi, that's why I love you so much, man. You listen, Mathurin is a talent. If I was dreaming, if you get someone you get Mathurin and Sohan at the same time, that's a pipe dream. That's not going to happen. But either or, I would take. But Mathurin is the scorer. Like if you don't get Ivy, the top scorers for me would be Ivy, Mathurin, Branham, and Adrian Griffin as the 4 in terms of a star caliber player you can bring in here. This kid Branham, Malachi, this kid can hoop. He's only 18 years of age. Listen, I'm not saying he's a Kobe Bryant, but he reminds me of a young Kobe Bryant, man.
Ooh.
I know he came out of high school, but he has talent. He's so talented, he doesn't even have it. He plays so smooth. So Malachi Branham is someone I like a lot as the top 4 that even Adrian Griffin there. You have to bring a star, and Mathurin is going to be a star. Ivy, I think, is going to be a star. Branham, future star. Adrian Griffin, I know that Mill doesn't like his motor, but I believe this guy in the future, he's going to be a hell of a basketball player. Thanks for your comment there, Prezi, as always, man. Mike, if Ivy is going to be a star, then the Kings are dumb to trade that period. Yeah, but you have how many point guards? Well, he's an off-ball guard too, as well.
He's off-ball.
Yeah, I would keep. You're right. You're absolutely right, Mike. Absolutely. You keep Ivy. He plays your 2. You have 2 other point guards in the team that can move the team. You need a star player, and I believe he's that good. I don't know why. I don't know why they even Sacktown is even entertaining offers.
Right?
Could it be a smokescreen? I don't know. And the latest news I'm going to put up, ladies and gentlemen. Check this out. Check out the ticker below. OKC Thunder merges as Knicks rival for the trade-up candidate for Javen Ivey. So OKC sees what we see. They need another star on that team, a young star that can take over a game at the end. So OKC is now competing with us, ladies and gentlemen. That's the latest news, maybe a few hours ago. So I don't know. I think Mike is right. I think Sacktown has something special in their hands. I don't know why they want to trade him, but it is Sacktown. They make some unscrupulous
trades. They haven't been the same since Chris Webber and Stojakovic and Jay Williams back in the day.
Right.
Yeah. So I don't know.
So
that's a good point by Mike.
No love for the sleeper. That guy Djokovic. I think he's a sleeper.
Yeah, I think so too, man. I think he's going to be drafted in the high teens, man. Okay. I can see the Nets.
Look, he's not rocking him at the bottom.
I don't think. I don't think he's going to go watch him,
man. I was surprised. I think he's a sleeper.
Yeah,
I don't know. I think there's going to be too much. They're going to try to compare him too much to Djokovic from Denver, even though they have no relations to each other. But yeah, you know what it is, man? These Euro League stars and these like European players with these like names that come from overseas, they just scare the hell out of me. I mean, they're like diamonds in the rough. I mean, you guys remember Frederick Weiss. I don't think there's no Knick fan that doesn't know how Frederick Weiss was when Vince Carter jumped over him and put his toe on his forehead. I mean, you know what I mean? Like, not everybody is Luka Doncic and Dirk Nowitzki and Jokic. That's my take.
Mike makes a good point. I think this kid is going to be something special. I don't think he's going to make the top 15, but anybody who grabs him after the 15th pick.
All right, 15.
Yeah. I don't think he's top 15. I don't think it's top 15. I could be wrong. He may be drafted 13 or 14, but I think anywhere between 16 and 21 he'll be drafted. Mike is having a little battle with me. Mitch is better than Ayton? Not sure about that. Hey, Mike, offensively, I'll give Ayton the edge. Defensively, I don't know if you watched those Knicks games against Phoenix. He just tore him up, man. He tore him up defensively. He couldn't take a rebound off Mitchell Robinson. I think Mitchell Robinson had like a 15 rebound game versus him. And all the matchups, you can see how it rebounds Ayton. So listen, I maybe I'm biased because I'm a Knicks fan, but what do you think? Ayton or Mitchell Robinson? No. What do you think?
I think Ayton would be a flat out superstar for you guys. I really do. I really do. I feel like he needs to spread his wings out. He was drafted in the same draft as Luka and Trae Young, and he want to prove himself. He want to prove he a max player, and I think like New York is a great opportunity to prove yourself as a max player. And I like Ayton game. You got that old school back to the bag, and he can hit the mid range like Patrick Ewing. You feel me? Patrick Ewing vibes. You never know.
Yeah. Listen, Mike, you have some Ayton fans here. I'm not a big Ayton fan. I'm Mitchell Robinson because I'm biased, and maybe I don't watch so many of Ayton's games, but I know when they were in the playoffs, Ayton had some great defensive games and offensive games. So I'll take that back. I wouldn't say much. Mitch is much better than Ayton. Maybe I'll just give Ayton a slight edge because he's been longer in the league and he's been in the playoffs. Mitchell Robinson, and he's been healthy. Something Mitchell Robinson has not been.
Hey, there you go,
Mike. I'll give you the edge on that one.
Though he definitely got the talent.
Yeah. What do you think, Juby? You think Mitch or Ayton?
Offensively, Ayton. Defensively, Mitch. That's all I can tell you guys. But if they both want 80 million plus, they can both kick rocks. And I'll stick with Jericho Sims and go sign me another big man and get me another star wing or 3-and-D or a point guard. The day of the man who backs the ball into the basket, and I'm a big guy myself, and I come from an era where we used to post up like Larry Johnson and Charles Barkley and everything. That era is gone in today's basketball. Now it's who can get up the court the fastest, who can shoot that three the fastest, no matter how tall you are. Yeah. And you know what I mean? I just think the big guy era is gone. As long I think if you just can play defense and you can rebound, you good. And I think Jericho Sims will be solid for us.
Yeah, but tell that to Jokic. Jokic is a big guy, and every year he's going to run for.
He's a different kind of breed. The guy can shoot the three. Outside, he's a beast. He's Dirk. Like I said, these are guys that are a dime a dozen. Dirk Nowitzki, Jokovic. You know what I mean? You don't get too many 7-footers that can put it between their legs and shoot the three and pull up and come off the dribble. Yeah. But that's the era that we live in now. Back in the 90s and even early 2000s, that was very rare.
And Mike says also that Ayton wants to leave Phoenix. I don't know what's going on in Phoenix. I don't know the details.
Ooh,
is it
a
contract? Is it something he's having a dispute with management or coaching? Yeah. If you can elaborate on that, Mike, I'm not really too sure. So maybe I don't know the reason why he wants out. Is there a contract here and he's not getting the money? I'm not really sure. I don't know too much on his contract situation or relationship with the team. So if you can kind of give us some input on that, I greatly appreciate it, Mike. Mike, you're the winner of this show here, man. You're coming up with some good facts.
He definitely is.
Said, I want D. Mitchell. That's the sentiment. Look, man, Millie, man, you and Millie, man, Mike and Millie can do their own show together. You guys got the same sentiment. Listen,
it's New York basketball, baby.
Yeah, but what do you have to give? This is a la Carmelo Anthony part 2 that you have to give a 5-6 players from your starting rotation?
You don't think Melo so back then you didn't think Melo was worth it? Come on now.
At the moment, I thought it was, but what did it get us to the promised land? No, because we had no assets.
It got look. I mean,
all right, RJ Barrett. I'm gonna
games one year.
Okay. RJ Barrett for Donovan Mitchell, straight up. Oh. I would listen. I would sit there and you can say yeah. But if you want RJ Barrett, Emmanuel Quickly, Obi Toppin, and you want draft picks for Donovan Mitchell, nah, I'm good. Yeah, I'm straight.
Utah is not going to go straight up. Just
that's what I'm saying. They won't do that.
They're going to want a Barrett, a Quickly, a Obi, and 2 number 1 picks. That's the kind of stuff they want. That's half of our team practically. We can't do that. I love a Mitchell. Regardless, I think he's one of the best 2 guards and point guard in the league. He plays that combo guard where he can take over a game. Look, I love it. I would love to have him here, but you know who's there. Danny Ainge, the assassin. He takes no mercy. He'll get, man, look what he did in Boston. He traded 2 of his players to the Brooklyn Nets or were the New Jersey Nets back then. Doesn't matter. And they got like 4.
They're still the New Jersey Nets.
Mike
from New York. Nah, just play, guys.
Mike says Lillard is 33. Nah, yeah, he's an older player. I agree.
He's an older guy.
We want the youth coming in here. I know Mill is a Lillard guy. Listen, Lillard would have been great if you're
Dame
at
is
that
a killer,
field,
man.
coach.
Dame is a killer. Steph Curry, 34. Come on, he in a shit championship. That's what I'm saying. You know what? Maybe you know what I'm saying. Hey, you can always tank for that Victor Wembanyama. You feel me? You know what I'm saying? You know what I mean? Hey,
Yeah,
Victor,
I got you.
That guy coming in next year after next year, he gonna be cold. You feel me? Y'all look like y'all looking towards the future versus making a championship team, which I respected. I totally respect.
I'm 40 years old, man. I'm not ashamed to say that, guys. But listen, let me tell you, I want to see a championship before I leave this world. I mean, I've been a Knicks fan since 1989, guys. I mean, I seen the Yankees, I seen the Mets win something. I seen the Giants win something. The Rangers, they won something in '94 too. But yeah, I gotta see at least one. Just give me one. That's all I'm asking.
Listen, I agree with Mike, man.
Stack it up.
I pass on Lillard, man. Too much is to get in return. I don't think they want to trade Lillard. They want to get an additional player to help Portland drive forward. So I don't think Portland is even thinking of moving Lillard. Lillard wants to stay because Lillard at this juncture, he's saying, look, I've been with this team for a long time. How many times are you saying the Knicks could have had Lillard for the last 3 years? And he hasn't done it. He's not going nowhere. Thank you, Mike, for your great input there. And now we have Greg McQueen. I keep Mitch. Yes, I'm a Mitch guy. Let's keep Mitch and let's roll with Mitch. Let him start shooting the ball from the outside. Knicks just have to give him confidence to let him play his game. Like Thibodeau has been holding him back to play his offensive game that he really has. But yeah. So let Mitch go, man. Let Mitch loose like we let Obi loose last year toward the end of the season.
I watched Mitch off-season videos and he handling rocks, shooting threes, and I don't see it in the game. I'm like, let the leash off.
He looks like Hoodie Mello, right? That's what he Hoodie Mello when he's
watching him off-season giving handles, shooting the three, he was looking like KD out there. I'm like, damn.
Yeah, he looks impressive in those practice, taking those shots. If he can do that in a game and open up that floor for the Knicks and get a point guard here, the Knicks can do some damage, man. Thanks, Greg. That's some great input. I like Mitch myself, Greg. Mike, we're back to Mike. Just don't see it. Okay, you just don't see it. I presume you said you don't see Ayton being Mitch being better than Ayton. Is that what it is? Okay, no, I don't know. Yeah, so now we have Mike again. Mitch
leaving.
I don't think so, Mike. I hope, unless you have some inside information. I think Leon Rose is playing chess with him. He's seeing what he can get out in the market first, and then we'll deal with that. There's only two teams, Detroit and another team I can't remember, that can offer him max money. The rest can only the rest of the league can only offer him the league minimum, the veterans minimum. So we'll outblow the veterans minimum. And Detroit, I don't think is going to offer him $20 million. I could be wrong. I think he's going to go for the bag. I agree with you, Mike. He's going to go for the bag. And I think the Knicks are playing chess. I mean, last second, maybe do an Ayton trade, maybe do something, let Mitch go. I don't know. And Mitch and Mike, if the Knicks get Ayton, then I have to bow to you, man, because that I would never see that coming. Mo Bamba, I can see more coming than Ayton, but yeah, well, you're not gonna fail. Look, I know you're not a big Mo Bamba guy, but
I was intrigued by that guy the year of the draft, and then I was so upset when we didn't make a move to get him, and then when I saw what he ended up being in Orlando, I was like, thank God we didn't trade up and give up the house for that guy. He's
gotten better. He's gotten better. We have to give him some. I don't know. I'm just saying. I'm just throwing that name out there. Shay, thanks for coming back again. We lost many close games that we had leads. That's true. And we're closer than you think. Continue the youth culture and rebuild. Yeah, that's the Leon Rose plan. Look, the dollar bill says for me, or the $100 bill says, and Leon Rose, I trust at least. Because I don't really trust Thibodeau. I don't know. I like Johnny Bryant, basically myself, to kind of take over this young team. He has a relationship with them. He has this youthful kind of touch with them. Not this kind of no-nonsense kind of Thibodeau, want to play veterans, kind of not looking. He doesn't think outside the box. Johnny Bryant, he's a thinker outside the box. Thibodeau is still playing his game back in 1994 when the Bulls were back championship back then. Was it 94? I'm just throwing a year out there, but it was a year when he had Rose. And
listen, man, he produced Jimmy Butler. I mean, you guys all say that, he doesn't do the whole youth thing. Jimmy Butler would not be the player he is today if it was not for Tom Thibodeau. And he does say that. I know we're not all Thibodeau fans, including myself. I wanted the guy who just got signed in Charlotte, if I'm not mistaken, Atkinson. That's who I wanted to be our coach, but didn't happen. It is what it is, and we're stuck with Tom Thibodeau. We got to make the best of it. As long as he plays the young guys, and we can see what happens. If not, like you said, Johnny, why not Brian as the coach?
Yeah. So Mill, I don't know if you watch a lot of Knicks games, and Shea makes a lot of good points that we lost a lot of close games. We had leads going into the third quarter, and every third quarter that I remember, they would give up a 20, 25-point lead, and then they make it close in the fourth quarter, end up losing games. Plenty of games, and Shea makes a good point. Where did that come from? That comes from Tom Thibodeau's coaching substitutions.
Alex Burke, 40 minutes.
45 minutes for Randall. Obi Topping, 9 minutes. How are you supposed to develop the youth when you're playing your veterans all these minutes? Makes no sense. Fournier was one game he played 39 minutes. Don't get me wrong. Fournier broke John Stark's record. Listen, that's a record that we love. And to hear that Fournier broke that record, listen, congratulations to him. But look, I don't think that it should have been another Knicks player, a homegrown player. But hey, congratulations to Fournier. He has some talent. He has some defensive lapses. He hustles, but he is not the right fit. I would rather have Cam Reddish in there and show what Cam Reddish can do. What do you think, Mel?
110%, man. Like I said earlier, Evan Fournier didn't live up to that contract. To piggyback on what my guy said a little earlier, Jimmy Butler is built different though. Let's be fair. Mentality-wise, Jimmy Butler is built different. Every young player don't come in with that I don't got thin skin type of mentality. Jimmy Butler can take a coach getting in his, getting in them and, making them better. Some of them young players can't take that Tom Thibodeau push. But the more I read the little thing at the bottom of the screen, I got another question for you guys. If y'all was to manage to get that OKC pick, why wouldn't y'all draft Chet?
No, Jaden would be the number 4. Excuse me. Jaden would be the number 4 pick. OKC wants to move up to the number 4 spot to get Jaden.
Okay.
Chet Holmgren, I think is going to go number 1. The Knicks won't have a shot for him.
Okay.
So Banchero, Chet Holmgren, and Jabari Smith are going to be the top 3 players. Then Jaden Ivey, who's supposed to be the next best player on that board. That's why the Knicks and OKC want to drive up to number 4 and try to get him.
I was wondering your interest on those top 3 players.
I think for me, I think Chet Holmgren is going to be a player, but I think out of the whole draft, the top 3, I love Jabari Smith, but I think Banchero has this edge in him, man. He can shoot, he can play bully ball, he plays tough defense. He has like a little Larry Johnson toughness in him. I like Banchero, man. Too bad he doesn't drop to us. I love Banchero. If I had a choice between 3, it'll be between Jabari Smith and Banchero.
I think I'll go Jabari.
But I like Banchero, man. His game.
He's good too.
Look, that's for another time. I don't think we're gonna get there, but right now we get it. Who do you think? Mel, out of those 3 players, who would be, if you had a choice between those 3 players, guys? Which one would be your pick?
If you were the Orlando Magic, who's your number 1 pick?
Man, that's tough, man. I like Jabari Smith, but I don't think he got the handles. I don't like his handle. Like my thing with Jabari Smith, you either gonna get a KD type of player or you're gonna get an Al Harrington type of player. You feel me? You're not gonna get in between. My thing about Pablo, I feel like he's a tweener. You feel me? That tweener type of player between small forward and power forward, still trying to figure out his position. So I'm a Chet fan. I'm a big fan of Chet. Okay. I'm going with the big man that can shoot the 3. He can handle the rock. His playmaking skills is superb. The only thing we got to worry about with Chet is if he can get bigger and if he can stay healthy. So my pick would be Chet. That's who I would pick.
Yeah, that's my worry as well. We'll get to Juby in a second. My worry with Chet is, remember, look what happened to the unicorn, the so-called unicorn, Porzingis, when he came. He was having some nice games. As soon as he came in and they were bumping him down the middle, he broke down. And that's what I'm afraid with Chet Holmgren. If he stays in the outside and he shoots his 3s and he does a couple of block shots here and there, maybe he'll be fine. But my concern is, can his body withstand a whole NBA year? Because the NBA is a whole different league. They have bulldogs down there, especially down the middle. I mean, we watch games enough where people just get hit all over the place. I don't know if Chet Holmgren in the long run can hold up injury-wise. I could be wrong.
Right.
Mill, you said it correctly. He needs to put more muscle mass.
Definitely.
Eat some Twinkies, eat some White Castles, whatever. He needs to bulk up, man. What do you think, Philby?
It's a tough one, man. I mean, me, Jabari would. I would still think. I think I would still go with Jabari, just on the upside on what I think he can do. I know he does. His handles is not there. But I just like him. I think he's a complete player. Then after him, Chet. You know what? The way they have it with a lot of the mock drafts right now, they got Jabari and then they got Chet 2, and then they got Banchero 3rd from Duke. So
right.
I think that's the way it is the way I would pick if I was teams. Right. But you know, that's for Orlando. We ain't worried about Orlando, and we definitely ain't worried about Porzingis. For all you sports guys who wrote this past week, I saw an article that said Porzingis back to New York. I almost cried.
What?
So please, we don't want no part of him.
Just hate, man. I thought he was turning up with y'all.
I'd rather bring I've been arguing with Zenray about this since last season. I'd rather bring Carmelo back for one last dance to train with the young guys. That's it.
All right. Okay.
Listen, Don says, "Yo, before injury was that dude, man. He was that dude for like 24 games. Like 24 games, he was that dude.
He was.
He broke down. Yeah. But Don says, "Yo, how is it going, Don? Man, we haven't seen you in a couple of weeks. We missed you. I'm glad.
What's up, Don?
Out the show. We got Juby. We got Millie from Soapgawdtv. And thank you for coming on, brother. Any questions you have, feel free. Your opinions. Needed to make this show fun, and we have Mike again, man. Mike is rocking it. What's Turner costing, though? Miles Turner. You were talking about Miles Turner.
To get rid of Miles Turner.
What's going to cost them to get him? Pacers seem to be eager to get rid of him. His contract is a big contract. He's injury prone. I think you can get him for Randall and a bag of peanuts. I think, and maybe a second round pick, because I think his issue is big contract, injury prone. Is not enough on the floor so you can produce. But when he's on the floor, he's a talent to be reckoned with. So Mike, I think they'll do definitely a Randall straight up for him. I think they would do that just to get rid of him and maybe ask for a second rounder or maybe ask for Burks, another player. But a lot of this kid, Miles Turner, is a talent, like Mill mentioned. If he can only stay on the floor, and that's the same issue with Brogdon. Think about the team that the Pacers have with Brogdon and Miles Turner. If those guys can stay healthy and stay on the floor, they can be more competitive than they were the last couple of years. What do you think, Mil and Juby? The wear and tear in the league is getting to these guys.
Hey, Zen, I agree, but we got to cover the elephant in the room. I didn't hear neither one of you two guys mention it yet. What about keeping the nucleus you guys got and adding Jalen Brunson?
Hey, where do I sign? But Dallas, listen, Mark Cuban is going to give him the bag. Are the Knicks going to pay more than $20 million?
You don't think so?
Going to go there. I don't think so.
I think they will. I think they can. Okay. I think Jim. Remember, we say what you want about the man. You don't like him. Jim Dolan is a wealthy man. He's quiet. He plays his little guitar in his band, and he's staying out of stuff right now. But if he hears, hey, listen, Mark Cuban is offering this guy this amount of money. What? We could get him here? Give the guy whatever he wants, and if we can get him and give him the keys to Gotham. So
Juby, let me give you, Juby and Mill, let me give you an example. So the Knicks says, okay, we'll give you the 4 years, $20 million at $80 million. Dallas will come here and says, we'll give you 5 for 115. Do you think the Knicks are going to try to do a bidding war for him?
I don't think Cuban can afford that. Cuban they already announced that they're going to have a problem signing him.
I don't even think they offer it to him. And I feel like, your boy Brunson can come over there and do some Fred Van Fleet type shit. You feel me? Van Fleet.
Better. I think Fred Van Fleet. You never saw Fred Van Fleet score 45 points in a game.
Right.
This kid he doesn't have to score to be effective because he's got other players involved.
He's a dog.
Need him to score. He can score. He's a talent. And don't be fooled by his size, because I know Thibodeau loves 6'5", 6'4" players, point guards. This kid at 6'1", he has talent. I would go there. I would definitely go there. The question is, they would want to sign and trade for him. Would you give up Mitchell Robinson because they're looking for a center? Would you trade Mitchell Robinson for him to come to New York and unsign and trade? That's the question there, because they don't want something in return. So
I got my pen. I got the pen ready. Where do I sign?
Right, Drew?
Yeah, let's do it. Let's do it.
Now we're
Let's
gonna
do
need
it.
Aiden. Now we're gonna need Aiden from Phoenix. So let's get back to Craig. Craig McQueen, I would trade Randall for the 4th pick. Yeah, but it's gonna take more than Randall for the 4th pick. I mean, I would do it too, man. But Sacramento is dumb, but they're not that dumb. They're gonna want some assets in return, and Cam Reddish will have to be a talk in there. I wouldn't mind. I wouldn't doubt they'll ask for Quentin Grimes and a Jericho Sims. Would Knick management do that? I don't think Leon Rose will do that. If it was straight up, like you say, Craig, I believe that I side in the dotted line right now to do it, but that's not going to happen, man. I think they're going to want more assets than that. And since the Knicks are New York, you know how you go to New York, you pay the most taxes, you pay more for everything. It's the same thing for the sports team. They're going to ask for more always from a New York team. Hey, they're New Yorkers. They have more money because we pay the highest taxes. We pay a lot of this other stuff extra. And we're supposed to be quote unquote wealthy in New York, you know, especially when you pass Park Avenue and you pack Fifth Avenue and you see those grand stores. So they think New York can afford this. So it says we're going to ask for this, this, and that, and they can afford it. Leon Rose does not play that game. He doesn't play checkers. He's playing chess. And I see Leon Rose building the foundation of the youth and go with the youth system. Let's go Knicks. Let's go Leon Rose. Let's get our guys in this upcoming draft. What do you say, Juby?
Yeah, listen. I like the Brunson kid. I said it. I think that's a plan B. Okay. In my opinion, I think plan A is to try to get up that 4th pick. Plan B is Brunson, and then if they don't get neither, then they're gonna try to figure out a plan C, which we will discuss at a later show and see what that plan C is gonna be looking like. But I think plan A is Ivy, plan B is Brunson once that free agency opens up in July, which is going to be 2 weeks away after the draft, 2.5 weeks after the draft.
Right.
So we'll definitely know which direction the team is going for sure.
Yeah, I agree. Definitely. So Mike says Sack is, but we know Sack, you know, like Dumb and Dumber, the movie. But I don't think they're that dumber. I think they're dumb. They'll make some foolish moves. But I think Sacktown knows what they have in that 4th pick. And I'm surprised. I don't know who mentioned it. I think it was you, Mike, that mentioned why would they trade that pick, especially to have Jaden Ivey, this future star, and you want to trade him away when you can play him as your 2 guard and you can drive Sacktown into this extra level, this dimension of that Ja Morant factor. So this is the stuff that I don't understand what Sacktown is doing. And a lot of stuff Mike has said, I agree. Thank you, Mike, once again. Don, Randall will be better served on a team with Lillard.
For sure.
Yeah, Millie, I and Juby have mentioned that. I think Randall will be served, and he's out in Portland. There's nobody out in Portland. The New York media can't get you in Portland. Only when you come to New York and play.
Or Dallas. Or Dallas. I think he would throw up in Dallas too.
What do you think, Mel?
Randall, somebody gonna call for him. You know, but hopefully it's not a team that make him a first option. I'm tired of seeing that.
Listen, I know we're running almost an hour and 7 minutes. Mil, do you still have some more time, or you need to go? Let me know.
I'm chilling, man. I'm chilling with you guys, man.
All right, good. Thank you. I appreciate it. I didn't know we've gone.
We got a lot of comments tonight, guys. We love the love. Thank you very much.
We appreciate everybody who's commentating. And by the way, me and Juby are going to decide tonight. You get on the first anniversary, you're going to get a shirt with our logo and a hat. So far, silently, Mike is winning. I saw the comments and all the good stuff here. You still got a chance to win the hat and the thing. You're going to go to one of the stores we're going to send you at. Probably going to give you my email address to get the information, and then you'll go purchase one of our codes. Not purchase, but you're going to get the items through a code we're going to give you through our merch store, and you can get the shirt and hat for our 1 year anniversary. I thank you guys. So I think Mike is in the lead right now. That can change. We'll discuss that with Juby at the end of the show, and then we'll get in contact with you guys somehow, some way. I think by the end of the show, you guys should know. So Randall would be better. We spoke about Lillard, and we got Mike once again. Sack is not doing that. I agree. I don't think Sack. They're not gonna make a trade Randall straight up. That's not gonna happen. I wish that one of the executives go kind of deaf, dumb, and blind and make a trade straight up for that. So I agree with you, Mike. Then Mike again says Randall for the 7th, maybe, but 7th and 11th, nah. I agree with you. I think we're gonna go either or. I think even in the 11th pick, Juby and Miller, Mill, at the 11th pick, we have some talent that can drop down to us. Maybe AJ Griffin, a Mathurin, Branham, Sohan we spoke about as well. Mathurin can fall down to us. So it's not like we have to be in desperation mode. And I think with Michael, someone saying we can't be that desperate to try to deal Randall because his value, like Juby and Mill said, the value is not there the way it used to be. So we have to play cool, cool hand Luke, like that old movie. You have to pay with that cool hand.
I agree 110%. That's why I said even if y'all plan to keep Randall or keep that core, drafting a player like Johnny Davis, man, just to stretch that floor that can actually just consistently get a shot and can get on fire, can get hot, man. And you know what I'm saying? At least it'll put y'all still in like 6th to 8th playoff. I know it's not contenders, but you know what I'm saying? It's a winning team. A good floor space to give y'all a good winning team.
Yeah, I agree. That's a good point. Thank you, Mike, for your comment. We're back to Craig.
Randall. If I didn't mention, that's another one I'm a fan of, Keegan Murray.
Oh, Keegan Murray. I'm going to tell you something about Keegan Murray. He's going to be what is called a solid NBA player. I don't think he's going to be the star like everybody says. I think he can be like maybe a DeRozan type player.
Okay.
Not exactly DeRozan, maybe a step back from DeRozan, but that type of caliber player that can do a little bit of everything, not skillful at one great thing. I think he's going to be drafted up. That's the key. Shadon Sharp,
another one.
Keegan Murray, and Adrian Griffin. Those are the 3 top guys that if they get drafted up high, you can get like a Mathurin to fall down to us, You can get some players like a Sohan, maybe a Johnny Davis, like we mentioned, Branham, Malachi. There's so many options. A lot of good things can happen, but I'm hearing the Knicks are hot and heavy for Jaden Ivey, as now we're hearing Oklahoma as well. So let's see what happens. Randall for the 7th pick. Would that be good? Craig, I think Portland will want probably a few additional second-round picks. I think with that, and maybe you throw an extra player there, like maybe Fournier, not Fournier, probably Kemba Walker or something like that. I don't know. Maybe a couple of second-round picks. We have plenty of second-round picks stashed, so I can see something like that happening because they do want Randall. But they might want to ask. I think they might want to ask for another player. What do you think, Mel? You think it's going to be Randall for the 7th pick straight up, or you think they'll ask for another player on the Knicks besides Randall?
Back to what y'all was saying about Randall trade value. You feel me? It's just like, do people look at that and really think what he can add to the team? If his mind right, he's a great talent. But is his mind right? I think that's the major question front offices are asking right now.
Right. Yeah. I think they would have to. You know how they do medicals on people's knees and stuff like that. They're gonna have to do some kind of evaluation of the brain or something. I don't know.
Right. Listen, can we keep that 11th?
What's
that? If we give up that Randall, if they want to say Randall for the 7th pick, he's good with it. And we add a couple of more pieces. Can we keep our 11th and add that 7th?
That's dope.
I mean, with Portland, we possibly can move something like that.
That would be awesome if we can do that.
Yeah, keep the 11 and give us we give them the 2023 Dallas pick. That way we have 2 picks, the 7th for 11. Leon Rose and these guys have to be creative.
Johnny Davis and then whoever. There you go. You got your 2 guys.
You can probably get 2 picks on the table. Get your Bradley Beals and your D Mitchells ready. Put it on the table. hey, Jube, if you pull that off, just put it on the table, man. Bring back Knicks basketball, baby. Bring back Knicks basketball, man. We gotta give them a show in the Garden.
That's exactly. I agree with Mel. But if you do get a 7th for 11th pick, imagine getting a Mathurin and a Sohan. Whoo!
There you go.
Forward, and you get a power forward on top of that, backing up Obi Topping. Oh, I think I was speaking to Don about that one day, and we were saying that's a dream draft, man. You get a Mathurin and a Sohan coming here. We're gonna be lighting up the Garden. Definitely. Okay, so thank you, Craig. I think we're gonna have to give a little bit more, probably a few draft picks, 7th for Randall, and but Juby and Mill made a good point. We can try to keep the 11th. We'll give them the 2023 draft pick of Dallas, and we can get the 7 and 11. I think Portland wouldn't mind doing that. I think they want veterans, and we'll throw in probably another veteran for them. We'll give them a Burks added to that team.
100%.
Look, we can make things happen. The salaries have to match up, so I don't know if we can get carried away doing all that stuff. But and Leon Rose, I trust, man. So
Bring
thank you,
back
Craig. I
Ben,
appreciate
too.
it.
As long as y'all bring back Ben McLemore, get that shooting. He was
Ben
there.
McLemore.
I wanted Ben here. I've been preaching for Ben for the last 2 years
Give him a
to
chance,
come to New
man. Give
York.
my boy the green light. He can shoot it. He can shoot it.
Yeah, yeah. 100%.
So Mike says Randall in 11th, okay. 7th, nah.
I think that's
I guess. I mean, Mike makes a point. Portland may want the 11th pick as well. I mean, but if we can entice them, we give them the $2,000 23 pick, and we can get the 7 and 11. You can pull off some magic in this draft, and I think I trust Leon Rose and the staff with the scout team to pick the appropriate players the Knicks need. I trust Leon Rose. I mean, like I mentioned before, and Thibodeau, I'm still shaky on how he's going to coach. You can't teach old dogs new tricks, or can you? Can you teach old dogs new tricks, Mel?
Hey, Thibs been coaching that way for years, man. I don't think it's going to change.
Yeah. What do you think, Juby? You think can you
well,
teach
he bended a little bit this past at the end of the 75% into the season is when we started seeing more of the young guys playing.
We're out of it already, of course.
Yeah, so that's why. So I don't know. It's too. You can't tell with this guy. One day he wants to play the young guys. Like I said, another day Alex Burks gives him a nice glass of wine. When he comes over for dinner, he brings him a nice bottle, and then he's getting 48 minutes, and then the young guys are not playing. So I don't know.
Don, thank you, Don, once again, P914. Dude, speaking right now, uses the eye test to evaluate. I like that. Much needed perspective. Listen, any perspective we can get from people, maybe we get one of the Knicks scouts to listen to what we're saying, and maybe we can give them some ideas, even though I don't think so. I think they have a plan. A, B, C, D, while other teams have, 2 steps, maybe 3 steps ahead. I think we're 6 steps ahead of everybody else. That's how much I trust Leon Rose and the scouting team of the New York Knicks. So great perspective on your end, Don. Mike, Randall, 7th pick, maybe. Possibly, but I think you're gonna have to give a little bit more than just Randall. You're gonna probably have to give someone else, maybe a Burks and some second rounders, maybe. So that's a possibility, but I don't think it's gonna be straight up. I don't think they're gonna do that. We can entice them. Well, giving them the 2023 pick, we keep the 11. We throw, Alex Burks, depending on the salary cap issues, and we get some of their dead contract back. I don't know. But this is good kind of evaluating what we can do, Mill. I mean, we have to be creative, especially like Mill wants to get a Donovan Mitchell and some stars in here, but we're going to have to give up a lot of the talent. Here, you're building for the future, Mill. Maybe you'll get lightning striking in one of these players and you can get us to the promised land much sooner than not. And maybe even if we make the playoffs, that's an achievement within itself.
The more and more I think about it when you were speaking on Adrian Griffin, maybe that's your Tom Thibodeau guy. You feel me? Maybe that's your Jimmy Butler. You feel me? He got all the intangibles as a Jimmy Butler. If his mentality can handle Tom Thibodeau's coaching, maybe he's that dog y'all need in the locker room. I agree 110%.
All right. I like Adrian Griffin has grown on me. My concerns is Leon Rose and management going to deal with his knee. But he looked spectacular in that in those tryouts, man. He looked lean, mean, speed-wise, his footwork, his shot, his aggressiveness. That's why when you're talking about his motor, kind of surprised me. But you never know. Listen, these guys see these players more than we do. So let's see, their evaluation is much higher than ours, or maybe less, or who knows. But I like Adrian Griffin.
We've seen a lot of that from Kevin Knox, but we never seen it in the real game.
Ooh, Kevin Knox. What a major bust. But, I'm going to tell you what happened with Kevin Knox. We had some bad coaching, number one. We had so many coaches, and these guys were up and down. Knox started, then they benched him. Who was that coach we hired? That's how bad he is that we hired. And he was supposed to be this world coach, and he sank this team to the ground that year. I can't think of the coach.
It's not about the guy with the glasses. I forgot his name.
Yeah, I lost his name. And the good thing I did, I don't think he deserves us to mention his name. He was horrible. Okay, Craig, not for the 11th pick. All right. So what do you recommend, Craig? I mean, if you had a trade scenario where we could move up in the draft, what would you do? I mean, right now, the Knicks are looking for a star player, a person who's going to contribute right away to the team. Not a players are going to take 2 or 3 years. We mentioned the Kevin Knox factor. We knew he was coached wrong, bad way. Nick Latino, another player who was kind of not coached. You had Phil Jackson running a clown show here and making kind of this a bad place to play at one time. We're not there no more. We have competent management people like Leon Rose. As long as the owner stays out of it, I think the Knicks can be competitive by building through the draft. So maybe not for the 11th pick, Craig, but we'll see what happens. Prezi. RJ is untouchable. I agree. He shouldn't be even mentioned in Craig Talks. I know a lot of teams are going to be asking for him, but I think he is right. He is untouchable. Thanks, Prezi. Craig, right? Okay. I don't remember what he's writing about, but I may be okay. Don P914. Whoa. Cam Reddish is the most talented player on the team. We gave away a first rounder for Cam. Can't trade that.
Facts.
Well, Don, we're going back to the Miles Turner factor. If you can't stay on the floor, doesn't matter how talented you are, you can't produce talent. So maybe the Knicks will give him a chance, but he seems like he has an injury prone, even when he's in Atlanta, when he was in Atlanta as well. Juby, Mill, what do you think? Cam Reddish, I'm a Cam Reddish guy, but he must stay on the floor and show his talent. But Thibodeau has to give him the opportunities. He can't do what he did last year. Give him 4 minutes, 5 minutes, 6 minutes. How are you going to produce talent and see what he's made of when he's only playing 4 or 5 minutes a game? What do you think? Mel?
Easily 20-point score, man. Like we call him light PG. You know, the handle is there, the hezzy is there, the confidence is definitely there. And in the first part of that season, when Atlanta had all those injuries with DeAndre Hunter, he was really starting to come around. So when he got traded to the Knicks, I was excited. I'm like, he about to get the green light. We about to see a new Cam Reddish, and he never got on the floor. It's saddened.
Yeah, it's Thibodeau. See, this is what I'm talking about. Like Leon Rose and Thibodeau weren't aligned correctly. Like Leon Rose knew what he was doing, but you can tell that Thibodeau didn't want Cam here. So this has to stop here. You know, listen, Leon Rose, your boss. If he's bringing talent for you here, he wants you as coach to try to develop that talent and find minutes for him. But he was so in love with Burks. And then at one point in the beginning, he was so in love with Kemba when he knew Kemba couldn't play. It was fool's gold. If you thought Kemba's knees were going to hold up, why do you think Boston dropped them? Oklahoma dropped it, can play for Oklahoma. You thought he was going to revive his career and be your starting point guard? Thibodeau, come on. Cam needed to play, needed more playing time. Obi needed more playing time. And the only reason that Obi got more playing time, pressure coming from management, number one. And number two, they were out of it already. So you had to know what you had in your young guys and Quickly and Obi. And Thibodeau, listen, that was a fireable offense, if you ask me. But since Leon Rose and him are friends, he has one more shot. Because I know there's a couple of people in the organization, including the owner and Worldwide West, they wanted him out of here because he wasn't doing right by the players, especially the young players. You get a Cam Reddish, like Don says, you spend a number one pick, and you only play him 4 or 5 minutes a game. That's a fireable offense, if you ask me. Good point there, Don. Thank you. So now we have Mike, untouchable for the 4th pick for sure. Yeah, I think they need to hold ground, man. I think if anybody can offer them a lot more, I think Oklahoma can, man. They have so many young assets. They have so many draft capital. Yeah. So anybody who can, Mill, Juby, Oklahoma has draft capital up the yin-yang. Yeah. And if they can hold out,
facts,
they can give a lot more than the Knicks can. Who wants a Julius Randle when you can get young assets and young players that they have on that team? So listen, Sacktown has something going on there. Foolish of them not wanting Ivy. But if they don't want to, I think Oklahoma may be able to offer more. I think the Knicks can, but I don't think Leon Rose is going to overpay for him. So I think plan B, 7th pick, stay in the 11th pick. Hopefully we can get a Mathurin, Sohan, Branham, A.G. Griffin. That's what we have to hope for. If none of that kind of materializes for any end, hopefully someone good will drop on the 11th pick. What do you think, Juby and Mill?
Yeah, listen, regardless of the fact whether we land, we're going to get somebody good. I don't think they can drop the ball on this draft. I mean, it'll have to be an absurd pick of a guy that we never heard of from Istanbul that they draft, but that's the old Knicks. You know what I mean? So we're definitely going to get somebody that we can be excited about, regardless of the fact. It's just like you said, it's where we're going to stay. And are we going to stay at 11th? Are we going to go to 7th? Or are we going to go to 4th? As far as Cam Reddish, he made a good point. Cam Reddish, man, we gave up a first-round pick for him. Yeah, sure. In the minimal time that we saw him on the floor, the kid can play. We saw it. We saw flashes of him driving to the ball. You know, his jump shot was spotty, but he needed to get some playing time. Everybody was like that. And then the series against Atlanta, there were series that I saw him put the ball on the floor and take it to the hole and everything. So I was excited, just like Mill was when we got Cam Reddish. It's just that Tom Thibodeau, with his infatuation with playing the veterans that he has, we didn't get too much of him. So I would like to see Cam Reddish minutes turn into Alex Burks minutes, in my opinion. And then we can see what we really got moving forward.
Yeah, I agree. What do you think, Mel? I think Cam needs the time, man. I think Don made a good point about that. We gave up a #1 pick, man. Yeah, we have to know what we have in him, but when you don't play him and then he gets injured, it makes Tom Thibodeau looks bad. And Nick Nation, let me know, is that a fireable offense in your eyes, not playing the young kids and play veteran? Do you trust Tom Thibodeau? Do you trust Tom Thibodeau running this team coming on? Can you teach old dogs new tricks? We spoke about this before. I don't know, man. I have my doubts about him. Johnny Bryant, I see him, man. He may take that Utah job, but if he doesn't, we're lucky. If he slips up next year, slide Johnny Bryant right there, because I think Johnny Bryant can take this team to the promised land.
I agree with you, man. As far, I'm gonna say, if the Kings trying to give up that fourth pick, I think you guys should do what y'all need to do to get it, man. They didn't want Tyrese Halliburton. It's kind of clear that they don't want
that made no sense to me.
You feel me? Which is cool. They're in love with De'Aaron Fox. Fine. So the thing about it that kind of like makes it tough is, like you said, OKC, man. They got Trey Man, they got Dort, they got so many young talent on top of the assets that they can put together a better
nice package.
But if y'all do get that fourth pick and still manage to keep y'all pick, man, that's something y'all got to think about. Y'all got to think about is we going with the future, or is we just going to put it all on the table? You feel me? I just feel like that's something to think about. And also, as far as coaching, if we talking developing young players, man, I think Mark Jackson deserves a chance, man. What he developed with Draymond and he developed Clay and Steph Curry, man, Mark Jackson will really do wonders with a young team in New York.
Right. Yeah. You know, I'm glad you brought that up. There was a comment that I got from Tattoo Face. He's out from NYC. Shouts out to Tattoo Face. He made some great points about Mark Jackson. We went over what Mark Jackson has been blackballed because of his religious beliefs.
Yes, sir.
And he was preaching the word, which I find nothing wrong with that. But I think a lot of managing people get scared when you start speaking about religion and speaking stuff like that. You know, I have my beliefs and you have yours. Everybody has theirs. But I think maybe they thought that he was pushing his religion on people. So he got blackballed. I don't think he deserved that. And I think you're absolutely right. Mark Jackson, think about what we need most in his team, a point guard. If you can develop a point guard where Mark Jackson was one of our best point guards for the Knicks.
No, ex-Knicks.
Yeah, I agree with you, Mel. I think, what do you think, Juby? Mark Jackson to New York?
100%. Ex-Knick twice. Not just once, twice, and has success with them. And like he said, look what he did with the Warriors. Look what he did with Steph and Draymond and all these young guys, players that were still in development at that time and not the stars that they are today. He basically set that whole platform up for Steve Kerr. He basically said, Steve Kerr, here's a championship and go get it. That's exactly what he did. Because if it were not for Mark Jackson, there would be no Steph Curry. There would not be this team. That's kind of thing. He developed them 100%.
Good point.
Absolutely.
So then Steph Curry comes in with an already coached team by Mark Jackson. I think he had 50 wins with that team. I mean, it was an incredible year. I think they got bumped out of the playoffs, but Kerr stepped in. He kind of just did a few changes. But if you would have gave Mark Jackson a chance, he would have won at least 2 or 3 championships, the same way Kerr did. Kerr stepped in already with the team built already. So think about that. That's disappointing to know that Mark Jackson had a lot to do with that team, and he gets no credit for it. Thank you, Juby, for bringing that good point. And Mike says that Reddish trade made no sense. Yeah, I think for Tom Thibodeau, it didn't make no sense. Leon Rose has a plan, obviously. I trust in that. But Don makes a good point. You trade a #1 for him and don't use him. Mike, give me your input on that. I mean, is it a fireable offense for Tom Thibodeau not playing the youth and not even using Cam Reddish, the time that, I mean, you played Fournier more. I mean, I don't know. I know management were divided. Thank God like Leon Rose is the president, because if it would have been any other president, I think Tom Thibodeau would have been fired. That relationship between Leon Rose and Tom Thibodeau goes deep. And that's the only reason he still has a job with the Knicks. Good point there, Mike. We have another one from Mike. Reddish, far from untouchable. I agree. I think if you can get the player you want and move up the draft, I mean, it is a number 1 draft pick, like Don mentioned. So you're giving up a draft pick we gave up in that trade. So I think Reddish, I think he's a guy, if a team wants him, you have to say, no, not Reddish. You're going to have to trade him. But I like the things that we spoke with Millie about, bringing Zion and having RJ and Cam Reddish. It's a pipe dream that happening. And having the Duke products playing together, Mil, that would be something to watch here in Knick Nation. That's only if Zion stays off the Big Macs and stays conditioned. But yeah, man, that's a dream, man. That's a dream if you get Duke players playing here. But I think Leon Rose has a plan, and I think I agree with Mike. Reddish is far from untouchable. I think he could be traded at any time for the right, obviously, pick or player.
I just think with the Kings pick, man, I don't think Randall gets it done, only because they already got Sabonis. I mean, they got Rashard Holmes. They got Sabonis. I don't think they really want Randall. I think you guys would have to give up. I know y'all hate to hear this, but RJ is going to be the nucleus.
Everybody wants RJ.
Anything big happen, and that's just is what it is.
Well, I tell you something. If they trade RJ, I'll tell you this much: that little in Leon I trust on that $100 bill won't be too much. I'll be rubbing off that Leon off that $100 bill, number 1, and I think I may put back to the old paper bag over my head syndrome, because you trade Barrett, you're going backwards now. You have a silent assassin, a leader, a guy who is I'm sorry, go ahead.
Do you think he takes the next step?
I think so. I think
he's, point, you know what I'm saying, point per guy.
You spoke about Butler. I think RJ is as close to a Butler player in the next couple of years than anybody else in that Knicks team. He's a silent assassin. He doesn't hurrah too much. He's quiet. I mean, he gets excited. He kind of celebrates with his players, but he doesn't argue with referees. I mean, he'll make his point, but walks away. Fact. He's there to play the game. His mind is in the game. And I think he's the leader of New York, like a Derek Jeter was to the New York Yankees. I think that's what RJ Barrett is to the New York Knicks.
I agree. I seen it too much last year, man. The man hit too many big shots. Like, he was clutch baskets. He was real clutch last year. When y'all needed a go-to basket, RJ really stepped up.
Yeah, I agree. What do you think, Jube?
RJ? And it's not even the fact that he made those shots, is that he wanted to be in those situations. Like I always stress, guys, I've been stressing this for the 1-year anniversary today. You got to be built to play in this city. You got to have a certain swag. You got to be thick-skinned, and RJ Barrett 100% has that.
Yes, sir.
You see when he drives the ball, he gets fouled, how he walks down and he does his little walk, and he has that like bulldog face, and he's raving. That's the kind of thing we need. That's the kind of thing I love to see. And to me, that's 100% leader of New York City. You got to keep him. Unless you got to mess up, Mill, with that Donovan Mitchell straight for 1-for-1. If you did this 1-for-1 then I would sit there and say,
it's not going to happen.
Well, you got to look at it like, do you think RJ Barrett peak will outpeak Donovan Mitchell? I think RJ has more potential, and here's why. I think RJ is a better playmaker when he wants to be. He was actually the playmaker on Duke, if y'all remember. He was actually the guy that made things happen on Duke. When he got to the NBA, they tried to make him play off the ball. I really think he needs the ball. I think he could be a James Harden. He's left-handed. You feel me? If he works on his shot, he could be a type of guy that can give you 20 and a triple-double. He's big enough to get you 10 rebounds, and his playmaker skills is good enough to get 10 assists. You feel me? Just give him the ball. Put the ball in his hands and let him do his thing.
I think he gets lost in the offense too much. That's my only issue with him. But I don't blame him. I blame Tom Thibodeau for that 100%.
Randall, because of Randall being on the floor.
Randall, yeah, but you said it. You hit it right on the bullseye. He needs to be the focal point of the offense 100%, because when he's not, you see the guy just get lost and he's just running around, and that's not the kind of player he needs. He needs to be involved 24/7 with that ball.
Yeah,
I agree. And the only
definitely.
thing I disagree with Mill is, I mean to interrupt,
No, go ahead.
is I think he's closer to Butler than he is to James Harden. I think Butler's all-around game, defensive clutchness, I think Barrett has that in his genes. I think this year you're going to see more of that once Randall is out. The key to this team is having Randall and Burks out of here. Now you're going to see the leadership in Barrett, because as long as Randall is there, Barrett's going to feel like the second-hand citizen there, feeling that Randall is still the man on this team. That's why it's so important that the Knicks management somehow, some way, get rid of Randall and Burks. If you do that, you're going to have some more playing time for the young kids. You're going to bring an enthusiastic kind of atmosphere in the team, a boost. And this team can surprise a lot of people depending on what they do in this draft and what Leon Rose does with Julius Randle and Alex Burks. If the Knicks still have Julius Randle, Alex Burks on this team, Juby Mill, this is going to be the same song. And I see Johnny Bryan dancing into that coach's seat soon, fast, because I don't think Tom Thibodeau is not going to play Burks. You're telling me that Burks is in your seat, on your lineup or on the bench, and Randall's on your bench. You think you're not going to play these guys? Come on. That's a security blanket. He thinks he could win with these players. That's the illusion that Tom Thibodeau has. He feels that these veterans is going to take him to the promised land.
I think, like you said, I think that window has closed. And 2 years ago was your best chance with that specific roster. You got to move Julius Randle. It's going to open the floor for RJ Barrett. It's going to open his game. And think about it. Obi Toppin doesn't need the ball. He can slash to the, slash to the bucket. You'll see more alley hoops. He's more of a above the rim type of player, and he can hit the open shot. Cam could be, that combo forward that y'all need to, hit baskets, and RJ can have the ball in his hand. And I think that's what y'all need the most. That's why when you say the Jaden Ivey, I think like y'all can probably get away with not getting a guard and still be a good team, because RJ can definitely play mate.
I agree. And the defense is something that Tom Thibodeau falls in love with. Sometimes it could be a little overrated because you're so defensive minded, but sometimes you have to let the offense play. I think when you have an offense player like Obi Toppin and you have Quickly that can run the floor together, with the way these guys play together, I mean, it's just exciting brand of basketball. You bring a Mathurin in here, you bring an Ivy in here. Wow, what a young team will be for the future.
I forgot all about Quickly, and he's good, man. He got that Lou Williams 6-man type of vibe. Yeah. And if you want to start him, he can easily be a Tyrese Maxey type of player, easily. So
right.
Definitely.
I agree.
And let's not forget, guys. I know we talk about Emmanuel Quickly, we talk about Deuce McBride. We still have Derrick Rose. The man was substantial with the young kids in that second unit for a whole season. I'm not gonna say he's gonna be a superstar and he's gonna, drug you with 25 points. He was.
D Rose, dude.
But D Rose is still there. He can still produce numbers.
But you can get away with that. You can get away with that. You need a veteran in that team. You can have 4 veterans. I think Derrick Rose, when he's on the floor, he's 10 times much of a leader than Randall is. You need a guy who's been there before. Randall's never been there before.
Man, be careful. You're gonna have Julius Randle's family come after you like they did to CP. You gotta relax, man. We don't want that.
We're gonna get to Don's question.
Go ahead.
He's opposing Mike's question. He says, Mike, if you don't believe in Cam's potential, I can see why you would say that. But for those that do, that trade was absolutely a steal. And Don, I think it was. I think it was a steal because it doesn't look like a steal because Tom Thibodeau just didn't do right by him. So listen, Don, I agree with you. I don't know what Mike thinks. Mike, I know he doesn't agree.
Mike doesn't like Reddish too much.
So I can understand either or, but I think you're right. I'm leaning over with you, Don. I believe that Cam's potential is off the hook if given the opportunity. But the question is, can he stay on the floor and not get injured? And number 2, would Tom Thibodeau give him the day of light to play and show and display his talents? That's the major question. If he doesn't, then I have to go down to Mike's side because now you're wasting a number 1 pick. And that, for me, it's a fireable offense last year. And if he does the same thing this year, hey, Leon Rose can't protect you, Thibodeau. Johnny Bryant is waiting in the wing, man. Watch out. But great point there, Don.
You had Cam Reddish averaging 18.4 in 7 games as a starter. Just give him a chance.
I agree. So Mike mentions a build with Obi, IQ, RJ. Everyone else could be moved for the right player. I don't know if everyone. I mean, Quentin Grimes, are you going to move Quentin Grimes? I don't know. I wouldn't. I mean, a defensive 3-and-D player that we dearly missed last year when we traded, and we got Fournier, Bullock. I mean, I don't know. I don't know everyone else, but I think the veterans, majority of the veterans, need to go except Rose. All the other veterans and Taj Gibson stays. You need his leadership for a few minutes in backing up the center, especially if you trade Nerlens Noel. So you can do a rotation of Mitchell Robinson, Sims, and Taj Gibson as your rotation, and get something. A lot of teams are looking for a center. Nerlens Noel was injured 90% of the season last year, so trading him wouldn't be a bad thing. But I agree with building with Obi, IQ, and RJ. Everyone else, Leon Rose built the foundation of these young kids like Deuce McBride and we talk about Sims and Quentin Grimes. These are the nucleus foundation of this team for the future. Watch out for Deuce McBride coming up in Summer League. You're going to see it's going to turn heads. They were talking about Daniels, the point guard that the Knicks are saying they're interested. Dyson Daniels. Dyson Daniels only averaged 11 points per game. And Deuce McBride averaged like 28, 29 points per game. You have your point guard. Why would the Knicks draft a Ty Washington or Dyson Daniels? It makes no sense to me. I think the Knicks have their point guards right in front of them. And I think Mill made a good point. You get a off-guard player like Ivy, a Mathurin who can play small forward. You get a talented offensive player, a Branham, another person who plays that off-guard. Look, the Knicks have opportunity at 11 to get something special. If not, you can't get an Ivy. You can't move to the 7th spot. I think we have to be creative and make some adjustments and make the right pick at the 11th pick. I agree with you, Mike, in building with Obi, IQ, and RJ. Everyone else, I don't know. I think the youth has to stay. You get rid of the veterans. That's what we need to do to loosen and have more playing time for these young kids. And then we have Don. Nobody outside the top 3 in this year's draft are debatable has more upside than Cam. Wow. Let me think about that.
Top Ivy? 3, even Ivy?
Listen, Cam has a lot of talent that hasn't been unleashed. We don't know what we have in these college players, so I have to probably agree with Don until you prove it in NBA. Cam has proven he has some 27-point games, 29-point games. He's played well in Atlanta. And wow, I can't disagree with Don, but I think the potential in the top 4 has a higher ceiling than Cam at this point. If Cam can stay on the floor, but I think Cam right now has an edge over all those players if he can stay healthy. But in the long run, can I see Ivy being a star and Cam being a star? I don't see Cam as a star player, possibly borderline. I don't know. He's the unknown. He's the unknown because they don't give him the opportunity. I know what I've seen in Atlanta, and the spots I've seen in Atlanta, this kid can ball. I think he can be a star. But once again, he's under the Thibodeau tree. You don't know what's going to happen. So
it's not only that, Zenner. You got a lot of the same players that play the same position too on this team, and that's the problem. I know when I walked away, I'm sorry about that, guys. I heard a noise. You guys were talking about Quentin Grimes. You know, you got Quentin Grimes, you got Cam Reddish, and you got Evan Fournier. Let's be real, and RJ Barrett, who all play technically that position. It's way too much. How can you split that? This is why I say somebody's going to have to go. I understand that you guys like Quentin Grimes. I understand you guys like Cam Reddish. But RJ Barrett's not going anywhere. Evan Fournier's contract is $80 million for 4 years. That maybe somebody might be interested in him, but because of the money, I don't think it's movable yet. So it's going to have to be between Quentin Grimes and Cam Reddish to be moved to get something in return that we need, honestly. And I hate to say that, but it's just you have too much of the same players playing for the same position.
Yeah. So Mike was saying,
build in the draft. Build in the draft. Then that's what I'm saying. I say keep everybody. Keep Randall running back. Pull some Golden State type shit and build in the draft, man. You feel me? Like, hey, we see how good Kuminga is, but he ain't getting no playing time. Sometimes you gotta win games.
Kuminga can ball though. If given up, this guy's gonna be a star. He's gonna be.
But he ain't playing. He ain't playing right now. And that's the same thing.
You know why, right? A lot of these coaches are stuck on for the hustle. He doesn't hustle as much as he wants to. Maybe just to play the defense he wants to. Yeah. So you're listen, let him loose. You worry about the defense. That guy offensively can ball.
That's the knock on Cam. He's not giving Tom enough on rebounds. Defense, he's not, you know what I'm saying? He's not hustle. Tom want to see that hustle. He don't care about how much you can score. You feel me? He want to see you hustle on every play. And if you don't give him that, he ain't gonna rock with you. And that was the big thing with him and Andrew Wiggins. He didn't like Andrew Wiggins' motor. And I think that's the same thing with Cam Reddish. He see the offensive talent, but he don't see that motor from Cam and rebounding and affecting the game outside of having the ball. But we gotta act like y'all wasn't just a 40-50 win team a couple years ago. You feel me? Like y'all got a solid team. Like he was just saying, Evan Fournier, maybe he comes back and has a comeback year. He can still spread the floor. Maybe Julius Randle comes back and puts up 25 and 10 again. You know what I'm saying? You never know.
Yeah.
That's true. I have to run it back.
Yeah, that's true. I don't think the Knicks Nation will want Julius Randle on the team.
I don't think y'all don't want him at all.
Yeah, I don't think a lot of Knicks fans want him. But
I don't think the fans will. I think once Julius Randle goes 1 for 7 or gets into a technical foul, I think the fans are going to call for his head and they're going to start chanting Obi Toppin. That's what I think from a management's point of view. I would try to move him because it's going to just cause problems within the organization and the fan base and the media. Cut ties with it. Forget about the talented aspect. The guy can ball, like Zenray said, and everybody says he drops 20 and 10. It's just a PR move to do would be to move Julius Randle before things are going to get chaotic. Because I'm telling you guys, when he has a 3-game streak of he can't score nothing, because we've seen it where he shoots 3 for 14, the Madison Square Garden fans are going to call for his head, and they're going to call for Tom Thibodeau's head 100%.
Okay. I agree. And Mike was just mentioned that he's more interested in Mathurin. Listen, I'm a Mathurin guy, Mike. The Knicks can pull off something getting Mathurin or Ivy in this draft. I'm happy. But Mathurin is my second choice next to Ivy, almost hand in hand. Ivy will give the edge. But Mathurin is a great pick. I think I'll go for Mathurin as well. I'm a Mathurin guy. Thank you, Mike. Prezi the boss, but isn't AJ Griffin basically Cam Reddish? If you are worried about his motor issues, we already have a high talent, low motor player. Let Cam ball out. Contract year. Made a good point. It is his contract year.
Good point,
President. You so low, and you get so high because you can say, look, you have Cam Reddish. It's on his last time of his contract, and you can get him off the books. Or do you go for AJ Griffin? I don't know, man. I know, Mill. You mentioned AJ Griffin's motor, and I don't know. Cam Reddish motor is a little bit slow. It takes a while to warm up. AJ Griffin, I don't see that personally. Anybody else? I don't know if you see AJ Griffin doing Mill sees it, kind of a low motor. I don't see that. I didn't see that on his pro day.
Let me fix the context of that. So when I say low motor, right, motor, right, his mentality is not set up to be that guy. You get me? You know what I'm saying? He has the talent of that guy, but his mentality is more of a plug and play type of player. When he was in Duke, he wasn't as aggressive as he could have been based on his talent. That's what I mean by low motor. I'm not saying he can't get rebounds, he can't jump out the gym. He got all that. We see that from Andrew Wiggins. But when we're talking about being a option, a first option or primary scorer, I just don't see that from AJ Griffin. That's what I mean.
Okay. I respect that. I mean, if he falls down to 11, I don't think the Knicks are going to pass up on AJ Griffin. I think he's been climbing up on the boards. I think he's going to get drafted possibly before Shaedon Sharpe. I'm seeing Shaedon Sharpe in a few mock drafts I saw in the last couple of days. He's gone down as far as 8 and 9. And I've seen AJ Griffin up in the top 7. So his stock has been rising. So thank you about the AJ Griffin and Cam Reddish comparison there, Prezi. Appreciate it. We have another question for Prezi. Mitch watches social media, laughing out. Aiden, Mo Bamba, better than me. Watch me go nuts on them. Hopefully he actually shoots the ball this year. If we retain him, what's the point of practicing jumpers? Look, man, I think you're right. People are the comparison. I mean, I don't know, Prezi, if you watch the games, Knicks versus Phoenix, he dominated freaking Aiden on the boards. He looked 10 times of a player than Aiden. Aiden can handle Mitchell Robinson in those games. Mo Bamba, I know Juba doesn't like Mo Bamba. I mean, when he was drafted, he looked like a bust. But the last year, a couple of years, he's been slowly kind of developing to a nice player. I'm not saying he's a Ayton. Ayton is a much better player. But right now, for me, Mitchell Robinson, Ayton, I don't want to argue with Mike. And I agree with him. It's a flip of a coin for me in terms of talent. I give the edge to Mitch because I'm a big Knicks fan. And I saw how he dominated Ayton when they played together. So what do you think, guys? Ayton or Mitchell Robinson? Let's get this settled here. I mean, I think you said Ayton.
I'm going with Ayton.
Yeah, and Juby, I think you were leaning toward Ayton as well.
No, I said for the right price, I'll stay with Mitch. But for the right price, if it's not the price is not right, they can both go, and I'll stay with Jericho Sims. And then we'll go after Mo Bamba as a backup. Since you guys like him so much, we can see Mo Bamba as a backup.
And see, that's my thing. That's another player, Mo Bamba, for instance, that I feel like just never got an opportunity. He was playing behind Big Vooch, and then Wendell Carter came to Orlando. So he never got the opportunity to really shine. I know for sure Mo Bamba can give y'all more than Noel. And he can hit the jump shot. Sure. You feel me? He can hit the three. I remember watching Mo Bamba, and he had like 7 threes in the first half. This is a center we're talking about.
Yeah.
7 threes in the first half.
It just doesn't happen consistently, but he is capable of shooting the three.
Yeah.
If given the opportunity, I agree with you. He's not been given the opportunity. So let's see what happens, man. I think I stick with Mitch. Back up Ayton. Mo Bamba is not a bad deal as well. Thank you, Prezi. Don, AJ looking like damaged goods right now. I heard, wow, AJ Griffin. I heard urban tales of the athletics he used to be in high school, and I heard he used to be a nice on defense. If he still had that, I would put him over Cam. I don't know, man. Cam has, I tell you this right now, I think, and tell me if you guys agree, I think Cam Reddish has more value than Julius Randle. I think people would say, oh, Cam Reddish? And then if you say Julius Randle, they scratch their heads. They'll pause and hesitate because of Julius Randle's history. But Cam Reddish has a lot of value. And if the Knicks can swing for the fences and package a Randle and a Cam, and that's the only way you get rid of Randle, and you can't, and you throw in Cam and a couple of second-round picks, and even throw in the 2003 Dallas pick, I think we may have something there. But I think Cam Reddish has more value than Randle at this juncture, at least.
There's a couple other lower tier guards that's available too. I don't know how Knicks Nation feel about D'Angelo Russell, but I think he'd be.
We love him.
Yeah,
we love him here. I like him.
All right, dude, that's my guy, dude.
When Brooklyn cut ties with him, I was like, "Yo, please bring him over here. The kid can ball. I wanted him since his Laker days. I wanted him over here. The kid can play. It's just
works out for the Julius Randle D'Lo swap. You feel me? Y'all were interested. Right. I hear Minnesota is really trying to break that little trio because Edwards is the guy over there now. So I think like D'Lo would shine in New York, man. He's one of those guys that hit big shots, can ball handle, can play.
And he passes the block.
I was just about to say he showed that if he gets to be the third option, he will be the third option.
Yep.
So I like that.
Yeah, I like that. So let's get back to we talked about AJ Prezi. Speaking of a Bamba, if Mitch walks, we need to sign Bamba after Orlando declines his team option. I think that's a possibility. I think that could happen. I think that's why I mentioned Mo Bamba a lot, because I think Mo Bamba is more realistic than Ayton at this juncture, because you have to trade assets to get AJ. And let's see what happens. I don't know. Mitchell Robinson right now, a lot of people think he may not sign. I don't know, man. I see it the other way around. But for any reason you don't sign Mitchell Robinson, that could be a fireable offense. You better get something back for him. I'll just say
you know what everybody's issue is with Mitch is that Mitch is wearing the Knick gear, showing up in New York City, showing based on clothes that he wants to be here. But when they ask him, "Do you want to be here?" You know what he says? "Talk to my agent."
Because he wants the bag, Juby.
Of course, and me personally, as a Knick fan, all right, forget about the money and the politics behind this. As a Knick fan, you want somebody who loves to be in this city, who wants to play here, who bleeds to play here, not somebody who just wants to make who wants to make some money and just says, "You know what, I'll be here if they pay me. If not, I'll go over to Detroit where they're going to give me $130 million." That's no loyalty. We don't need people like that. And that's why I say if Mitchell Robinson wants to walk because the money is better over there, have a great day. And thanks for everything. That's my opinion.
It wouldn't bother me because we didn't draft him, but we better get something back. A talent like that, if we don't get anything,
we did draft Mitchell Robinson.
No, we drafted him, but this Leon Rose and his crew.
Oh yeah.
He's not part of the Leon Rose regime.
Yeah.
Saying that if you don't sign him, Leon Rose, I trust. I know he'll get some value back for him. But I think, thanks, Prezi. That's a great point. But Mike makes a good point as well. Bamba will be a lot cheaper than Mitch and is good as a backup option. I like that. I like that. But if you lose Mitch, who's going to be your starting center? It would have to be Mamba, or are you going to put Sims out there? See, that's the question. Or do we keep Nerlens Noel? He starts. Bamba can be the backup, and then Sims can be that option as well.
Did you not see how Sims looks this summer?
That guy looks great.
The guy looked like he put on like 40 pounds of just straight muscle. I don't know where this guy's been eating at. I think he's been hitting all the Italian restaurants in New York City and putting a number of muscle and pasta in him because the guy just looks broad. I wish I had the picture up to show you guys with him and Julius Randle posing. Jericho Sims, man, he put on some muscle, and in his limited time of playing as a reserve, I would have no problem if he was to step into that center position and take over as a starting center because we don't need him to drop 20. We don't need him to drop. He can drop us 7 points and get us 10 rebounds or 9 rebounds and 1 block, and that's good enough for me.
All right, guys, listen, I don't want to interrupt, but we're going on 2 hours, so we're going to need to cut this short.
And go through those.
I know we're having a good time here, and everybody has a lot of questions
all night, baby. Let's get it.
I'm gonna finish off with all the questions. I just want to say that right now, our 1 year anniversary, we're giving Zen Ray shirt with the logo and the hat. So far, it's between Prezi, the boss, and Mike. Don is coming a little strong. Mike and Prezi, the boss, are the two guys who've been asking a lot of good questions down to the neck. Don, you need to pull your weight a little bit more to win that prize, but I love you, man. I might just throw you because you're a good guy. But right now for that prize, it's between for the cap, logo, and shirt. It's between Mike and Prezi, the boss. So we're going to finish off the questions here. The next one is from Prezi, the boss. We got D Mitch equals Melo 2.0. Yeah, I agree. You're talking about Donovan Mitchell equals. Yeah, I agree with that. I mean, you can't go there. As much as we want him, if you go there, Danny Ainge is gonna rape you, and he's gonna take all your assets. Something that Leon Rose started building for the last couple of years. Let's keep the foundation going. So, Prezi, I agree with you with that. And let's go to the next question here. We got we all know Danny Ainge wants blood. Yeah, we just mentioned that all over our studs and draft picks. Yes, Prezi. That's the reason you can't negotiate with, Danny Ainge, because he's going to ask for the house, the dog, and your wife if you had the opportunity. So here we go. We got Don. We are plugging D Mitchell at the number 1 or number 2. He's a dude who's looking to score first and pass second. He doesn't have that vision. And on the other hand, he is too undersized defending opposing. Yeah, if you look at what but he is a talent. I mean, regardless of his size. But if you look at what Tom Thibodeau, we go with Tom Thibodeau. He likes his tall, big guards there. So, look, Mitchell is not an option. We're talking about Donovan Mitchell. Yeah, Donovan Mitchell is not an option right now. I don't look at it. I think we spoke about it. Danny Ainge is going to look for blood. He's like a werewolf. Once he smells blood, he's gonna go for the house. He's gonna go for the house. I know, Mill, you're a Donovan Mitchell guy, but I think that the Knicks need to continue building to the draft and having their own star players being built through the draft, through Leon Rose and Knick Nation. Something to be proud of, saying we drafted this player.
It's time for that.
So it's time we need to do that.
It's time for that. But to be fair, I am more. If we're talking about superstar for the Knicks, I'm more pro Bradley Beal over Donovan Mitchell. I like the fact that Bradley Beal can do much more without having the ball in his hand. So y'all can still get the point guard y'all love, and y'all got the shooter. So if I'm more Bradley Beal than Donovan Mitchell, but I wouldn't be mad if y'all did get deep.
But think about Bradley Beal. Like if the Knicks were a player, 2 players, maybe 3 players away from a championship, if we made the second round or you made the first round, you have promise for the second round, then a Bradley Beal will make sense. But when you have a team constituted with the youth, what is a Bradley Beal really going to do for this team? win a few more games.
Hey,
I'm saying?
I'm not disagreeing with you, but when I'm playing,
devil's
antagonist here. You feel me? So I'm just looking at it as what I've seen over the years. I know you've stressed that New York has new management, but what I've seen over the years is y'all went after the Jamal Crawfords, the Steve Francis. Y'all went after the Carmelo Anthony's. You feel me? Y'all been known to go after big name players to fill the seats. So if we still, going off what history says, that's all I'm saying. But I'm not opposed to what you're saying. I think that it's time for y'all to breed a New York homebred superstar.
I agree.
I'm all for that.
I think trying to get somebody else's star is something watered down already. I think all the teams are trying to do that. I think the Knicks are trying to do what the Celtics did. The Knicks are trying to do what Memphis did. Look what Memphis, Grizzlies, the talent they have from 1 through 10. It's amazing. And they did it through a draft. The Celtics, wow, they got to the finals. Wow, because they built it through the draft, and they added a veteran player like Hartford there. Yeah. Look, you need to add a veteran here and there to kind of stabilize a team. A Beal would be great, yes, when you stabilize a team and you have a team already making a run.
Yeah,
but the Knicks are not there yet. They need another year or two to do that. So Bradley Beal for me would make sense. I don't think Leon Rose would do it. I would love to have Bradley Beal, don't get me wrong, but I don't think Leon Rose, that's in his map right now. We're not ready for that. We're not ready for those big time players. And Donovan Mitchell and Beals, you have to give a lot to get them anyway. Definitely. So that's another thing. You have to give assets to the foundation that we already built. We're already giving these assets away. So I think Leon Rose, I trust. I continue saying that. And Mike, good, thank you, Don, by the way. Mike says F the Nets. I think Juby and I love that, because
Mike, I think Mike just got he just made it closer to get that gift tonight.
I think he won it already with that comment, man.
That's that comment. We don't like the New Jersey Nets.
Right. See, we don't call them Brooklyn because we love Brooklyn. They're still New Jersey.
We love Brooklyn. They're from New Jersey. I love me some Kyrie. Politics aside, Kyrie's a great basketball player. He still is. There's a couple of players I like. I just can't. There's only one New York team, and that's the Knicks. That's it.
Y'all know y'all had loved it. Y'all would have loved if KD and Kyrie went there.
Oh, we got
not KD. I never wanted KD.
We got left at the altar, man. We got left at the altar. You know that, Juby.
I already felt that heartbreak from when LeBron James did it to me.
Right.
So I was still recovering from that. So I already knew Kevin Durant was going to do that to us anyway.
But Juby and Mel, you have to understand, we were at the altar. We were ready to say I do's. And we're looking around and we see on a TV show, a news broadcast that comes in front of us that Durant and Kyrie Irving is signing a contract with Brooklyn or New Jersey. Let's say that.
Worst mistake. If they really cared about their legacies, they would have went to Madison Square Garden.
New York. Yes, I agree.
That right there is what I don't like about KD mentality. He don't want the pressure.
Yeah,
exactly. He's not made.
He's clutch as hell, but he don't want that media pressure. He gonna be responding to everybody in the crowd, all that. He just don't want it, man.
Okay, we got another from Mike. Don, you don't want Mitch? Ha ha ha. I think Don wants Mitch. I think Don wants the best player available. But I think Don's thing is, I'm not speaking for Don either, but I think Don is saying, I don't think Mitch wants to be here. That's his thing. And I think the more and more days you see pass by and you see Mitch making comments like talk to my agent, I don't think his heart is here. He's going for the money. And I don't blame him. He's playing 4 years, getting played like this absurd contract. So he's going for the bag. So the highest team, the highest bidder is going to get Mitchell Robinson. I just hope and pray Leon Rose gets something in return.
So hold on. What about the flip side of that? What about the Randall for Gobert talk?
Rudy Gobert. I just found out from someone last week. I forgot the guy's name. Was it John? John was saying he makes between $42 and $44 million a year.
Facts.
Why would the Knicks incur that type of contract? Go Mo Bamba. You go cheap on Mo Bamba, and you have a decent center. If you can afford Satan and trade some assets that's not going to affect you in the lineups, and get Aiden maybe for a 2023 pick and some second rounders and maybe a Burks or something like that, then you'll get an Aiden. But Mo Bamba is the cheapest out of all.
Facts.
You don't want to touch Rudy Gobert. $44 million a year
for him. Yeah,
oh,
he don't even spread his flow.
It makes me feel good for me thinking of that money, but it's going to top a lot of our cap space. But Don, I appreciate that. Mike, I appreciate that comment for Don. Maybe he can answer that. So Prezi the boss at Don, P914, since he's an undersized shooting guard, the one, but to your point, he is not a point. We need to get some of Chris Paul's blood and clone him. We need to open up the floor for RJ, Q, Cam, and Obi. I agree, man. We need a point guard. We talk about D'Lo. He's a guy who can pass the ball, open the floor, and he's a threat. He can shoot the ball. Yeah. Even though 3-point range numbers were low last year, went down to 38. But from the floor, he was shooting over 40%. So D'Lo, and he had a Coach Finch. He had a problem with Coach Finch was playing him at the 2. He wanted to play the point, so they had a lot of issues there. So they have to trade D'Lo. D'Lo has to go somewhere because he's not going to be playing for them. Because when you're in the doghouse with the coach, you know you're not going to last there. He has 1 year left on a $30 million contract he has. So Prezi, that's a good point toward Don. Thank you. Can't let Thunder do that. Can't let the
we can't let the Thunder do that.
We can't let Thunder outbid us. But look, man, we're not gonna play a bidding war for Ivy, and I think they have more assets they may want. And I think, look, Sacktown is maybe it's not as dumb as we think. I think not picking Ivy is dumb, but I think if they can get the best kind of package for their team, I think they may outbid us because I don't think Leon Rose is going to go into a bidding war. Good point, Mike. Don, nope. Will he be the best of the team? Absolutely. Will games be more exciting? Absolutely. But can we compete with D. Mitch as the man? Nah, he doesn't move the needle, and the price tags are just different. I agree, man. I think Don, we've spoken about this in the past, man. We need to build with the foundation, the Matrans, the Sohans, the young kids of the future. I know Millie thinks differently, but he understands why the Knicks should do that. We don't want to go, Scott Layton days where we traded 5 people for 1 player, and then we have the owner coming in, Carmelo Anthony, getting involved in trading 5 players. It didn't make no sense. I think Leon Rose wants no part of that. I think he wants to build our superstars internally, and I do respect that from Leon Rose.
Thanks.
Scooby-Doo. Scooby-Doo, how are you doing? The Kings are taking offers for the 4th pick, but Randall isn't it. Maybe a 3-way with Atlanta, sending Collins to Sac. Randall to Atlanta gives us the 11th, and you can have 4 and another player. I don't know. That's intriguing. That's a lot of moving parts there. Look, if we can pull off something getting Randall out of here, I would do it. That's something Leon Rose would do, all these moving parts here. I like Scooby. He's thinking out of the box, man. This is good, man.
I heard something like that for their big man. Yeah, for Atlanta's big man too. It was the 4th and Atlanta's big man.
Yeah, Scooby-Doo. That's great. I mean, I like the moving parts, moving here and getting the player we want and 3-way trade. That's how the Knicks have to be creative, man, because if you just try to involve one team and try to get all your assets, if you involve another team and get some other assets and get players that we don't need, maybe some of our veterans, and we can make a 3-team swap, you can probably be economical and get the player you want and still get your draft picks along the way and not lose your talent along the way. Good point there, Scooby. Thanks. So we have Prezi. It's a smokescreen. Mitch isn't going anywhere. I kind of said that before. He will get paid, but I'm sure Mitch is going to try to leverage getting some offensive focus. Can I get a player where I can shoot? I agree, man. Laughing out loud. I agree, man. I think Mitch is saying, okay, I'm going to sign with you guys, but am I going to get the ball? Am I just going to be a defensive specialist? I want to do my thing. I want to shoot. If he can shoot the ball, what we've seen in videos from 3 and space up for the floor, I think Mitchell Robinson can be very, very special. Let's go through quickly here because Mike, again, Tibbs got to go. Yes, I agree. Johnny Bryant, man. What do you guys think of Johnny Bryant? Blending in with the young players. He's already coaching them. I think that's the way to go. I love Mark Jackson. Don't get me wrong. But Johnny Bryant has been in the system.
Yeah.
Let's go Johnny Bryant, man. Don, RJ is the most comfortable on the ball. If we are talking about having another ball dominant player on the team, he has to be a playmaker that looks like Stephon Marbury, Jamal Crawford problem. Yeah, that's why D'Lo intrigues me. I don't think he's a ball hog like you said Julius Randle could be. I think he distributes the ball. He likes passing the ball. You leave him open, he's going to kill you with the outside shot. We need a threat from the outside that people are going to be fearful of us shooting the ball where we can open up the floor with Mitch or maybe a point guard like D'Lo. So I think Mill and Jimmy make good points about getting a point guard that can stretch the floor. And I think D'Lo is the answer at that aspect. But what do we have to give? And that's the question. That's the bottom line. Prezi the boss. At this point, how can we get tips at the moment? Atkinson is now the Hornets coach. Unless Johnny Bryant is the second coming of Iman Udake. I can't even pronounce his name. That's a Boston coach. He has to be rookie of the year coach. I mean, this guy has taken Boston to the promised land. What options do we have to improve our situation? I don't know, man. I think there are options out there, but I'm pretty sure Leon Rose would give Johnny Bryant a chance. I don't think he can be as bad as Tibbs. He'll let the players play. He has a communication. As long as you get the veterans around here and have the youth, which he's been kind of working out with and talking with on the bench with them, I think there's an easy transition. I think you have to give a guy like Johnny Bryant a chance. He does want to coach. I can see him going to Utah with his friend Donovan Mitchell, but he has no experience, obviously. So you may be right, President. What other options we have? I don't know. I don't have any players. Atkinson, I think, got hired. I think Juby was saying. Yeah. So Mark Jackson, would you want a Mark Jackson here? He hasn't coached in a while. I don't know. I would love to have a Mark Jackson, but I don't know. I wouldn't know what the options are. I would give Mark Jackson definitely a chance. He created that Golden State team that now is this championship team that Steve Kerr is running. So let's see what happens. That's a good point.
As long as we don't reach out to David Fizdale, Zenray. That's who the guy's name. David Fizdale. We don't want him.
Now the question is, if you have to give the clown show act to who would you give it to? Judge, the ex-Giant, or would you give it to I don't want to mention your friend's name of the Knicks. Who would you give the clown show act to?
David Fizdale, you talking about? Or
Joe Judge from the Giants when he was
from the Giants?
Who gets the clown show award? I would give it. That's tough, man. That's a flip of a coin. But Fizdale, man, that was horrible.
Yeah. I think
at least Judge had one good season. Fizdale couldn't get no one. I mean, he destroyed Nicolatina. He destroyed the guy we just traded to Atlanta. I can't think of his name. Knox.
Kurt Rambis was pretty bad too. Just throwing that out there.
Yeah. Okay.
But anyway,
so, President, you make a good point on that. Mike, funny how these things fans want half of a team for a huge unknown. Yeah, it's you make a good point, Mike. You make a good point there. Don, too much of a risk. Yeah, it could be a risk. The only thing is Leon Rose is taking a risk bringing on Tom Thibodeau back. I don't like it, especially if we keep these veterans. It just spells disaster. We have Mike Thunders will rip off the Kings. Ha ha ha. I think they will, man. Don says Chet may work out in this league, but I wouldn't touch him. I agree with you, man. He's too fragile looking guy. I could be wrong. It could be the next all-world player. Like Mill says, shooting from the outside, has a talent. But, man, if he does get some weight, man, I don't think he can take a full 82-game season in NBA, man. I don't think it's going to happen. He'll get injured somehow, some way. Scooby-Doo, all I want is Collins and the 11th, and you can have the 4th and Holmes.
Collins. All you want is Collins? You talking about Collins from Atlanta? And the 11th?
You'll get the 4th and Holmes. Okay. I'll have to analyze that one. I don't know.
If we get the 4th and Holmes, I'm with it. And all you want is Collins and the 11th? What do we have to give up to get Collins, though?
He's saying the 4th and Holmes.
You get 4th and Holmes. Atlanta, right?
Yeah, what do you have to give? So, is Randall involved in that trade? Is Burks involved in that trade? Elaborate a little more, Scooby. I like the fact that we can have the 4th and Holmes. I don't know. That's debatable, man. I don't know, man. It's a lot of good stuff going on here, man. It's you guys are great, man. Mike, I agree with Chet. I don't want him either. Chet is is a person I don't know. For me,
We're
Pablo.
gonna revisit this. We're gonna revisit this.
We are. We definitely are. But I think Pablo is the guy. I think Pablo. I go Pablo. Pablo has a upside to him that I like. He's an all around player. Plays defense. He has that bully side of him. Can play inside. Can play outside. I don't know. We'll see what happens. Prezi at Don. Gotcha. Makes sense. Although Deuce is better than him. This is why people are talking about Dyson Daniels since he passed first. Too bad he can't shoot. So he's coming like Frank 2.0. Look, I'm telling you, I agree. Don, Prezi, that's good, man. Let me just say something. If the Knicks draft Dyson Daniels, a Ty Washington, I'm not going to be a happy camper. We don't need this guy. We don't need Dyson Daniels. We don't need Ty Washington. We have our point guards already. A lot of Knicks people don't see it. That's my opinion. If we get Dyson Daniels, I'm not going to be a happy camper. He only scored 11 points, can't shoot, plays defense, can defend a lot of positions, and can pass the ball. But we need a point guard that can stretch the floor, and Dyson is not the guy. And Ty Washington, I'm sorry, man. Please, I don't want to even talk about these guys. The Knicks should not visit those two guys at all. What do you think, quickly, Millie, Dyson Daniels, and Ty Washington, Kentucky product? Dyson Daniels from the G League, a night team. I don't know what you think about them. I don't think they're the appropriate point guards in the Knicks.
You know my pick for y'all. I'm big on Johnny Davis. I'm sticking to it, man.
Yeah. Okay. I like it. Mike Holmes. Send me another Mitchell. Okay. Yeah. Holmes. Don't float my boat too. I agree. Scooby Doo. Holmes is good, or I'll give you Barnes.
They're making trades. I love it. We love it.
I love it, bro. Scooby, man. You're in the running here somehow, some way, man.
But see, that's a player I would definitely take back. A Harrison Barnes. That's a good plug and play player when we building a team. Solid. You know what I'm saying?
You can use him as a backup to Obi. Yeah, come off the bench. I would do that. I mean,
if veteran player,
right? Yeah, I agree. Then we've got Davion Mitchell. Yeah, Davion Mitchell is another talent people don't realize that Sacktown has. When you have Fox and these two guards here, Davion Mitchell plays some great defense. He can ball. In fact, Jaden Ivey spoke very highly of Davion Mitchell. Very highly. He said that guy is a dog. He mentioned about Davion Mitchell. His defense is someone that had problems trying to get around. So this is Jaden Ivey speaking, and this guy has a good, quick first step. To give the props to Davion Mitchell, we came up forgetting that you got Davion Mitchell on that team. Sacktown, I don't think they're going to trade. I understand why they traded Halliburton. I still don't kind of understand it. I thought Halliburton was better than all those 2 point guards. I thought his upside was really great. But Davion Mitchell, don't sleep on that guy. He can shoot the three, and his defense, oh my gosh, suffocating. Wow, good point there, Mike. I'm not a GM. Ha ha ha. None of us are GMs too. We're just giving our inputs, and I appreciate you guys' inputs. It makes the show interesting, guys. We're gonna have to end the show in the next 13 minutes. I know we have a lot of comments here, and I'm trying to go through them as fast as possible. We've been on for 2 hours and 17 minutes, something I didn't expect, but I do appreciate you guys commenting. You guys have fun. We're down to Mike. We're down to Prezi. And I think I'm going to throw a little Scooby in there as 3 finalists for that 1 year anniversary prize shirt with my logo, Zenray logo, and the hat and the cap. So we've got Funny Buddy, Sacramento King fan here. All right, man. I appreciate I think Funny Buddy, I think you guys are foolish in a sense to trade that 4th pick. You guys need to pick Jaden Ivey. I think off-ball guard that can be a superstar for your team. It's a big mistake if you guys trade that 4th pick to the Knicks or to Oklahoma, who I seem they're hot and heavy for that 4th pick. So, Funny Buddy, give me your opinion on that. I think you guys have a great pick in Jaden Ivey. Okay, he's back again. We want to keep Davion Mitchell, of course. I think he's a talent. Don P12 Prezi, I went ball through the Frank era because I was stressed arguing with Frank fans. I don't mind Dyson as long as he has heart.
This is why this happened, guys. That's all I'm gonna say.
Yeah,
One of the reasons.
Yeah, I think that's the reason we went bald. I don't know how much heart he has. He didn't show too much heart in the Ignite team and the G League. Deuce McBride had more heart with him. He averages like 28 points per game, 9 assists, and something like 5 rebounds. At his best game, I didn't see Dyson Daniels come up with any of those numbers. Maybe the assists, maybe. But numbers like that, Deuce McBride is our future. We don't need a Dyson Daniels. I agree and disagree with Don a lot. He has a lot of good points that I may disagree with, and vice versa. I'm not a Dyson Daniels or Ty Washington fan. I don't think the Knicks need a point guard. I think they need an off-ball guard or a small forward that can be creative and that can score. And we come back to Mathurin and Ivy, maybe AJ Griffin, maybe Dunham, the Malachi. He's up and rising draft as well, a scorer. So let's get through these questions as much as possible. And I believe about the stress, man. He has heart. I don't know. There's a lot to be seen yet. How much heart does Dyson Daniels has? Thanks, Don. Scooby-Doo, no. Mitchell, I'll give Terrence Davis, which he's a dog. Yeah, Terrence is a dog, but I don't think the Knicks are gonna do that, man. I think even I don't know. We'll get back to that, Scooby-Doo. Mike, I bet. I don't know what you're betting, but don't bet the farm, man, because we got Tom Thibodeau coaching the Knicks. Mike, not the GM. Mitchell, haha. Okay. I don't want Mitchell here as well, man. It's going to cost us too much. We want your pick and Randall and some power forward. You have Knox? No, we don't have Knox no more. Knox is gone, man.
Funny buddy is he's from Sacramento.
Yeah.
So that's what he's saying. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, we'll give you the 4th pick. Randall, and we'll give you a Cam Reddish, man. I don't know if you guys are going to go for that. I think Oklahoma probably can offer you a better package. I can see Oklahoma sneaking in. I don't think Leon Rose is going to go through a bidding war. Mike says, I would stay away from both of these Pacers. I agree.
Me too. We
spoke about that. Miles Turner, I know Mill loves him, but obviously he has to be on the floor to show that talent. Very talented, but Brogdon and Miles Turner, no go for me. Funny buddy, Scooby-Doo, you're a Sacramento King fan? I don't think he is. He may be. But he comes with good negotiations, man. He's got some.
Oh no, he is from Sac. He is from Sac. I'm in Sac. Yes.
Oh, he is.
I'm reading ahead. Yeah, he is.
Okay, I would rather have the unicorn back than Turner. Oh, come on, Mike. The unicorn. Porzingis. No, we don't want him and his brother in New York. At least for me. What do you guys think? Porzingis in New York, guys? No.
He's doing good in Washington, man. Let him stay.
Let him stay there.
Scooby-Doo, I'm in Sac. Yes. Oh wow, we got 2 Sac towns. I appreciate you guys, and I love Scooby-Doo. I grew up with Scooby-Doo. Don, why pick up Jalen Brunson when we're developing IQ? He's certainly showing more sound and improving.
That's true. Good point.
Good point, Don. Good point. Funny buddy, I'm a Sacramento King as well. Okay, funny buddy. I think you guys should stay with Ivy, man. That's my consensus. I don't know why you want to trade that 4th pick. You're a rising star in your hands. I don't know why you guys don't think highly of Ivy. I still don't understand that. And I kind of want Keegan Murray. Wow. Ooh, Keegan Murray. You guys can have Keegan Murray. If you guys do that, you'll be doing us a favor. Funny buddy, I'm tired of losing. Guys, hey, funny buddy, join the ship here. We're tired of losing too. We've been losing for so many years. Ain't funny. We had 1 year celebration with Randall having a big year, and after that, the Knicks going south this year. So I feel your pain. Funny buddy, what pick does the Knicks have? They have the 11th pick. Mike made a good point. Mike has 11th pick. Funny buddy, dumb McNair saves us in the draft. I don't know who McNair is, but
look at that.
Funny buddy. Thanks, Mike. I'm trying to help the Knicks get the 4th. Knicks fans are nice. They kick ass in the playoffs last year. Not last year, the year before. They didn't kick ass because we lost the 1st round to Trae Young. So we didn't kick ass in the playoffs a long time. I think back when Melo was here.
Melo and Jeremy Lin, J.R. Smith.
Okay, Mike is saying thumbs up. Don, Toronto Raptors fan, appreciate fire about Toronto shopping him. But okay, listen, I'll take a Brunson, man.
Very similar player to Fred VanVleet. I see what he was saying.
Yeah. If I had a choice between them, I'll take Brunson, man. I think he's younger and he has a higher upside. I mean, he can score when he needs to, and when he passes the ball, he can make other players better. He doesn't need to score. That's the beauty about Brunson, and he can have the keys to the city. Wow, that's something. I like Brunson. Okay, then we have Funny Buddy. We have Scooby. Yeah. Wow, we have so many questions here. This is a good thing, guys. Prezi, the boss, Don 914, hopefully, but I rather develop IQ and Deuce. Hey, Prezi, I agree with you. IQ needs to play with his heads up, but he's arrogant enough to believe in the best player on the floor. Just score and pass to you, bro. I agree with you, man. Prezi, yo, his arrogance, he has his arrogance, but a confident arrogance that he can play. And when him and Obi get together on the floor, it's something special in the making, guys. Funny Buddy, Scooby-Doo, Dyson Daniels, Knicks can draft. No, we don't want
we don't want him.
Daniels. We want no part of Dyson Daniels. Scooby, you guys can have him if you want. You guys can draft them and let Ivy fall to us. I doubt that happened. If you guys don't draft Ivy, you guys are going to regret it. I like you guys in Sacktown, man. Draft Ivy, man. I don't know. Have no reasons why you don't want to do it. Funny Buddy, dumb no more. Yeah, you're not dumb no more. Jaden Ivy is in your hands. Draft them, and you'll see what you're going to get out of that. You're going to have a star in your hands. Prezi the boss. Deucey was the best in the G League. Why draft someone score less than Deuce for an extra 6 inches? Yeah, I think Deuce is the guy, man. He's small. He's not a typical type guard in terms of his height, but the kid can ball. Watch him in the summer league, guys. Prezi, watch this kid in the summer league. You're going to see this kid is going to ball. He's going to score 20-plus points a game. Watch him. And it plays a great defense, by the way. Funny Buddy, there's behind the chat, with the chat. Okay, Don.
Yeah.
Agree with Prezi. We've never been on true development. This opportunity to do it now. I hope the front office sticks to do it this time. I agree, Don. I agree. We have to stick to our guns and build with the youth. Okay, we're trying to get through this fast. Scooby-Doo, the Kings have made stupid moves for a long time, but I think they have it covered now. Yeah, I think having the 4th pick, if you get some nice assets from Oklahoma, or you make that pick with Jaden Ivey, man, I think you're back on the map, man. You're back on the map. Montclair, we trust Scooby-Doo, right? I don't know what Montclair is. Is that a town where you live at? Is that a player? Not aware of it. Scooby-Doo, he's better than the last few GMs. Oh, that's your GM. Okay. I should be up on my Sacktown news here. You guys are awesome, Sacktown, by the way. Funny Buddy, damn, there's behind the chat. Okay, Funny Buddy. Yep, Scooby-Doo, Mike, Davis, and Duran. Okay. I like it. Duran is a player, a center that any team draft. The upside on this kid is incredible, man. And Davis, Johnny Davis, you know that Millie loves Johnny Davis. I'm a Johnny Davis guy as well. But if you can get a Johnny Davis and Duran in the same draft,
that's a good.
Wow, you pull a home run in the draft, man. I'll tell you that much.
Facts.
Good point there, Mike. Duran is going to be a hell of a center, man. I think he has more upside than Williams. I'm a Duran guy. Funny Buddy, Mike makes it up behind the Y. Mike, is it me or are they behind the Y?
He's talking about the chat that we're behind.
Yeah, we're behind because we have so many. I'm sorry, guys.
Yeah,
we're trying to catch chat wise.
We're moving. Keep going.
We're moving as much as possible. Randall, we'll skip to. Give us toppings and Randall for the 4th pick. Ooh. Look, man, we'll give you Randall, man. Topping is a game, man. Scott Perry. Nah, Scott Perry does not make the decision. If it was up to Scott Perry will make that trade. Leon Rose runs the ship here. You're not going to get Obi and Randall for the 4th pick. If it was Scott Perry, you guys, that's Dumb and Dumber. I think he'll probably end up, making that move. Scooby-Doo, not Randall. Give us Cam, the 11th, and Collins, so the Knicks can have a deal with the Hawks, and we can. I like that. Hey, Scooby's coming up with some good stuff, man.
Thanks.
I like Scooby stuff. Funny Buddy, give us Kevin Knox. Kevin Knox is not with the Knicks. He's with Atlanta. You have to get Cam Reddish. Kevin Knox, man, I love him, man, but the Knicks destroyed his career, man. The old regime, at least. Funny buddy, I don't feel
you live far.
Okay. You guys can change address information if you like. I don't know when the next time we're gonna visit Sacktown. Maybe one day we will, man. Scooby Doo, Kevin isn't on the Knicks anymore, right? Though you traded him for Ham. We did, man. And don't forget the pack of Skittles, man. That's what we traded him for. Good point there, Scooby. Don 914. Joel Embiid was injured in his first 2 years of the league. Can you imagine the Knicks fans by getting Embiid's third year? I can see it now. Get him out of here. Oh, that's a question. Would you take a chance on Embiid, man?
They had patience. I'm not going to touch upon that too much because I know we got to move along.
Yeah.
Philly had patience with Embiid. New Yorkers wouldn't be able to wait 3 years for a player to get healthy.
Yeah. Prezi the boss. And in Cam's contract year, he's going to ball out as long as he stays on the floor. I agree. Cam, Millie, and myself and Jube agree. Cam plays. His playing time doesn't get injured. I think he and RJ can ball on the floor with Obi Topping and the rest of the crew. Scooby, I wish you guys well. The fourth pick is there. Get creative. Randall won't do it, though. I agree, Good man. Point. I agree with you, Scooby-Doo. I don't think nobody wants Randall at this juncture, man. Salutes to you, Scooby. I appreciate you being on. I'm going to be announcing. We're going to be getting off in a few. We're going to be announcing the winner of the shirts. So the finalists are going to be Scooby, Prezi the boss, Mike, and I have to throw a little love to Don.
I was just going to say.
We're going to make a decision before the show ends. We're going to collaborate in our private chat here with Juby. And if you want a private chat as well, give us your opinion. We get to see who to vote. You want to vote who wins between Prezi, Mike, Don, and Scooby. Who wins the shirt and hat? What do you say? We can say it out loud. We don't have to go private chat. Who do you like out of those four? Scooby, Don, Mike.
Keep going through the comments. I need a minute to process because there's a lot of good stuff.
So it's gonna be Prezi, Mike. Oh, Brick Nation just got involved. Hey, Brick Nation, thanks for coming on. We're gonna put you on. You haven't been on for a while. Randall, the 11th pick, Dallas pick to the Pacers for Brogdon. Number 6, Mathurin, Davis, Griffin, all available there. Wow, that's creative, Brick Nation. I appreciate it. And yes, we shot a lot of bricks last year, so that's a great name, Bricks Nation. Thank you, Brick Nation, for coming on. I do that. Randall 11th, Dallas pick, Pacers for Brogdon. Ooh, Brogdon is the issue, man. But to get rid of Randall for Brogdon, ooh.
You know what? I would do that trade if they give us the guy that I wanted the year that they drafted. Quickly, what was his name? The shooter. Remember they picked him up in the was it last year or the year before that they picked him up before us in the teens? The guy who could shoot the three.
Duarte.
Oh Duarte. Yeah. Throw Duarte in there. You got it. No problem. I like Duarte.
Hey, but if y'all can't get Duarte, what about Buddy Hield?
Oh, I'll take Buddy Hield too.
His contract is so big. He can shoot from the other, but you see his contract. That's why he can't be moved.
I was wondering if that could have worked. Yeah. I didn't know if he was.
His contract is huge for the last 2 years. That's the reason no one wants him. The talent is there, but his contract is inflated, man. So Brick Nation, appreciate you. Kenneth Shorts, I'd like to see the Knicks pick up Eric Ricky Trump and pass first point guard. I heard of this kid.
Who can stick
three?
We gotta look that up. I never heard of Ricky Trump. I gotta look that up.
I have to look that up. I heard that Trump. Okay, listen, guys, we're gonna end it here, guys. We appreciate all the comments, man. You guys were awesome. Now we're gonna go to Millie first. Finalists: Mike, Scooby, Don, or Prezi. For you, who's your vote as the most talented comments and people who came through with great comments? Who do you like, Millie?
Who's it between again?
It's
Mike,
Prezi,
and Scooby, right?
Scooby and Don.
Okay. And what are y'all basing it on?
Well, the answers, the questions they've been giving us, facts and points of people who've been involved. You can use whose name you've been hearing the most out of here, or what good comments have you heard from people that you think?
That's tough, man. I think
Zenray, I'll tell you what. I'll give you a little break. I'll go first to take the heat off for you a little bit. Zenray, I'm sorry because you're doing this great giveaway at our 1-year anniversary. The best thing I can do for you is give you a top 2, maybe top 3, and then you're gonna have to make your decision from there.
That's what I was
because I mean, between Mike, Don, and
Prezi was good.
And Prezi, Mike, Don, and Prezi. Scooby wasn't too far behind, but to me,
Scooby didn't have a lot of comments, but he came up with some good
stuff. Good stuff. That's why it was hard.
Yeah, he was good. He was good.
But Mike, and Don were like in it, like there. So I'll leave that up to you guys.
Mike or Prezi or Don? You were saying Don? Which one? You have to give me, guys. We have to end the show pretty soon. You have to make a decision. Come on, guys.
I need Mike, Don, and Prezi. Those are the 3.
So who do you want? Who's your final 2? Who's your final 2, Millie?
I'll go with Don and Prezi.
Okay. And how about you, Juby?
Mike and Don for me.
Mike and Don. So for me, it's between. I'm going to take you guys. I love Don. I love you. But for me, it was Mike and Prezi, between you two. Okay, guys.
Ooh.
You guys are both great. Guys, you're both going to be getting T-shirts and hats.
All right.
Email me at zenraytv@gmail.com so we can make arrangements. You go into the merch store. So email me at zenraytv@gmail.com. Give me your credentials. Mike, give me your one of your comments that you made here. Looking at, I'm going to review it. It has to match one of the comments. Look at one of your best comments here, so no imposter can come out of here and grab something, and put it in my Gmail, and then I'll send you email back how to get your shirt and hat. And the same thing with Prezi. Pick one of the comments, copy and paste it, so I can look over the comments here and then evaluate that was you that made that's you that's sending me the email, and then we'll go from there. So send me that information. Ooh. And
Zenray, we got a breaking news comment. I know it has nothing to do with the Knicks, but you got to put that up there real quick. Okay. Last one, 9:51 from Prezi, the boss.
Wow. Prezi, you are the boss. Thank you. Listen, we've been on this thing so long that we haven't had a chance to peek out and do our research on this. But the breaking news is that Dallas acquires Christian Woods for the 26th pick.
Trey Burke.
Sterling Brown. Wow. That's breaking news. Dallas is making moves. Christian Wood.
Dallas is trying to free up space and free up money to offer Brunson the bag. That's what that's about.
Yeah.
Good point. And also that's big for Houston because now they can draft that power forward they want. Now that they got rid of Christian Wood at the 3, without having to have that Julius Randle problem, that vet problem.
Right. You know what, guys? You know what I'm gonna do? Prezi and Mike, just send me that information to my Gmail account, and also send me that information on my platform as well. On this video, send me a comment or what. I'll go over to something, but just send me the information and I'll get back to you with the merch account number and everything, so you guys can get your hat and T-shirt. I just want to make sure it's you guys getting the merchandise. For any reason, if I don't contact you in any way, or feel like I'm not getting your email, just contact me. I'll give you some more contact information as we go along the way. You can contact me at Twitter as well. You can get me at Zenray Sports, Zenray TV, Zenray at Zenray TV at Twitter as well. So comment me, send me some information there, and send me through my email, and then I'll get back to you guys with a code to get into the merch store and get your hat and T-shirt, cap and T-shirt. Guys, I thank you for making a comment. Prezi, you're the boss. You're the man. I'm probably going to invite you on to one of the shows with your knowledge and breaking news analysis here. Scooby, You were great as well. I appreciate all you guys from Tacktown, Funny Bone. You guys were the best, entertaining in terms of making trades. But we have to go. We've been on for 2 hours, almost 40 minutes. I want to thank everyone. Millie, God bless you, brother, for being on for 2.5.
I got y'all, man. Appreciate you guys for having me, man. Appreciate it.
You have to check out Millie at Soapgawdtv. The guy is talented. Listen, it's not financial advice, but if you want to learn about the cryptocurrency, he is the man to go to. You can catch Juby the Tubi, our family above everything. I'll leave a description for Juby and for Millie on my description page. So you can get in contact with him as anything possible from Soapgawdtv. Much love to you, Millie. Thank you. All love to you, Juby. And remember, guys, never give up. Never give up, knowing that the best is yet to come as long as you have love, peace, and gratitude. Guys, Zen Ray out. I appreciate you guys.
Millie, you, man. Nice meeting you too, good brother.
Nice meeting you too, brother.
Yes,
we'll talk, man. All right, good night, guys.
Thank you.
Never give up. Never give up. Knowing that the best is yet to come with love, peace, and gratitude.